Hey, it's 10 a.m. and this is Utah's best sports radio.
Say my name.
You're locked on to Scotty G and the coach, Tim LeComb, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK, now DJ and Tim LeComb, soon to be Scotty G and Tim LeComb. We're just in a moment of transition.
We're a big family here, man. Mix and match.
As you're about to find out in the next 2 days at the Star.
Yeah,
we got each other's backs.
We always do, man.
Always help them.
Always. That's the mantra. If we're going to expect it from our teams, we got to do it ourselves, right?
See, right. How hypocritical would that be?
I mean, guy will set a screen and then come out here and, no, I ain't taking a shift.
Although a lot of the people that we've worked with here over the years who've gone to other markets have said, yeah, it's not like that everywhere else.
Well, I like
it's been like that with
here.
lots of groups of people here, different people, and it's been like that. But then people have gone off to other markets and they're be like, ooh.
That would be nice.
When the studio door opens, a brisk cold wind blows in.
I got a question for you.
Please,
before we get into stuff, because I was talking to Lloyd about this. You know, I'm going to Texas, and I used to travel every week of my life, maybe twice, for about a 15-year span. And I really haven't traveled very much over the last 5 years. So, packing a bag and everything's a little foreign. I kind of had to make sure I had everything I needed. I did realize I haven't brought a charger, so we're going to have to figure that out. But I digress. Packed my bag, had plenty of time this morning, got in my car, got halfway down, one of the first major roads to my route every day, and my wife called, maybe 2 minutes away from the house, and she said, did you forget something? I don't know, did I? She said, Hank, our grandson, spent the night. He said you left your luggage sitting in the front room. It's like, I'll be back to get it. So that's the story. And my question to you is this.
Yeah.
Is that because that didn't used to happen to me. And I'm, you are a little more wise than me.
I'm a little older than you is what you're getting at.
Yeah.
And so how bad is my memory?
No, did you go through any kind of thing like that where you all of a sudden the things that seemed really simple, like you're going to the airport, grab your luggage?
I don't think DJ's that much older, is he?
Yeah, I think I am. I would say I'm in the 5 to 10 range, but I don't really know how old you are, so whatever. So here's the deal. I don't think I've made a blunder that bad. I know someone who made that specific blunder far worse than you at a much earlier an age.
If you're
flying to Europe for the announcement of the Olympic Games in 1995 in advance of 2002, and you leave your bag in your car and you go on TV and you spend the entire time you're on TV complaining about the airline losing your bag, and you get back and find out it's in your car, yeah, that's worse. So as stories go, that's a bad one.
And this was a colleague?
Yes, it was.
Okay, I'm not going to even go to names, but we'll talk off the air because I have a good idea.
I'll bet you're wrong.
Really?
Yeah, but we'll talk about it.
Okay.
So yeah, I do find the memory slips, and it takes me. I have to leave the house 2 or 3 times, and I've left crazy stuff at home, but not that crazy.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's one for the books.
Yeah.
And I'm 56.
I've got to put stuff in place and plan ahead, or I mess it up. Yeah, I'm older. I was exactly right. I was right in the window.
Range.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought you were mid-50s. Recent example, the last 2 times I've gone golfing, you have the little thing that you use the ball mark, and mine has a magnetic marker on it.
Right.
That you can mark your spot, so if someone's got a putt near you, you don't hit the ball, right?
Yeah, multifaceted.
I took, for whatever reason, I finished a round a couple times ago, and that was in my pocket. And I realized it, and I put it on my desk at home, and I got to put that in the golf bag. So I've now gone golfing twice without it. Now, that's much smaller than going on a trip. And you can use a tee and fix it, and you can use a coin for a ball mark, so I've adjusted. But yesterday, I saw it on my desk, and I went out immediately in that moment and put it in the bag.
That's the key.
I'm no longer going to try to remember this.
I think in the future, that's my key, is don't leave it in the front room, walk it to the car.
Mm-hmm.
Or say, I'm leaving my bag here, I will pick it up later.
Yeah.
Those types of tricks. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. This has been getting older.
Yeah, it happens.
With
and
DJ and
then
the coach.
recalling names and Mars Blackman. Like thought it was Morris Allman and Mars Blackman, but I didn't trust myself. I thought, did I just butcher the first one? I'm not going to butcher the second one. It turned out I was right, but I wasn't positive, so I didn't say it on the air in the last segment, and you came in and said Mars Blackman.
And to bring it full circle, we lost to that Rice University team in triple overtime when Morris Allman was there when I was at the University of Utah.
Yeah.
They had a stage on one end of their facility.
It goes to the he was a good college basketball player. And he had some size. If I remember it, he's like 6'5".
Yeah, he's bigger.
Bigger than 6'5"?
6'7".
Okay. And he could shoot it.
Oh, yeah.
But he wasn't athletic enough. And it's just crazy how much
Didn't have
in the NBA, it's just every level. Like Summer League is bigger, more athletic guys and older and more veteran guys than college. So there's some new challenges for guys who are coming straight from college. And it looked like Peterson just blew right through those challenges without barely breaking a sweat, except for the 8 turnovers. That was rough. But other than that, there were a lot of good things there. And then, but the regular season, I mean, the preseason's harder than the Summer League. The regular season's harder than the preseason. The playoffs are harder than the regular season. I mean, the bar just keeps going up.
Yeah, absolutely does. And with that, Lloyd, let's jump in, man. We are ready to talk Darryn Peterson, to talk Utah Jazz, to talk the goings-on of the weekend.
Hit it, Lloyd.
It's time to kick off the show with the biggest headlines of the day. This is your starting lineup on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Peterson passed the eyeball test. That was it. Smooth, effortless. I thought he got a lot of easy buckets. He didn't have to shoot fadeaway threes from the corner, over the backboard, over some 6'10" guy jumping at him and all that. He came out early in the game, gave the guy, started a drive, gave the guy a little hesitation, and boop, right to the hoop, finished for the layup. I know there'll be bigger, more athletic shot blockers to score over later, but all he could do at the Huntsman Center was make over half his shots and score 28 points, and he did.
I thought he was great. With some exceptions, and you mentioned one of them. I think the biggest thing I want to start with is, this kid he's definitely what Austin Ainge said. He's a complete player. Mm-hmm. This guy understands how to not just play the game, but he understands the nuance of it. In the very first play, Jazz get the tip, and they've got a couple of different actions, and one opportunity to set a screen comes to Darryn, and he doesn't want it, and he kind of waves it off and calls the big up, and he gets the big right at a perfect angle and knows if his right foot is in a certain spot, I can turn the corner and get all the way to the rim. And the cool part about it is he did all of that just naturally. Mm-hmm. He did that, not making a fuss about it, did it all in the tempo and the rhythm of the game. But it's really the one thing over time, and Keyonte George kind of morphed into this a little more last year, but somebody off the bounce that can play at their speed, their pace, don't get sped up. Mm-hmm. His turnovers were kind of careless. I mean, it was just, it was... and it may have been some fatigue things. You have not played a real game for some time.
So how important is it? Yeah, and then there was full court press, and then disorganized against that at the end of the game. And I can't remember who got all those turnovers. There was multiple stuff going on. To me, it just looked chaotic. And I'm like, well, they probably haven't practiced that. They've
been together for 3 days.
Right, they've only had so much time you got to put in the offense. They haven't practiced it, and guys are lost, and guys have played in different systems and had different rules, and nobody really knew what to do. And it had probably a little bit of an all-star game feel to it that was a little chaotic and weird. I'm curious about the turnovers. I'm curious about when you get to the regular season and there's so many guys on the team who can score at a high level. I mean, 20 points a game in the NBA is a high level. Markkanen's well beyond that. Jackson's done that. I'm not even sure how many times he's been at 20 points a game. He can absolutely do that. Now we see Keyonte George last year raises his hand. Hey, look, I can do it too. So there's only going to be so many shots. Who gets the ball and initiates the offense? It was kind of a deal at Kansas, and there were people in the run up to the draft who said that Self misused Peterson, which is pretty rough because I think Self would say,
I didn't get to use him.
I didn't get to use him. Right?
That's try.
I don't want to bag on the kid here, but come on.
I'm always looking out for coaches.
I know. He doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't want to bag on him. It doesn't do him any good. But there was clear on the sideline there was frustration. I'm curious. He played a lot off the ball at Kansas. There's the expectation he'd be on the ball, as I guess he was in high school and AAU. Why wouldn't he be? He's the best player. Give him the ball. Don't make this too complicated. Then he gets to college, he's off the ball. What's he going to do in the pros? And if he's going to be on the ball, he's got to handle it a lot better than 8 turnovers. And he's got to take charge, which maybe even in game 2 or 3 we may see, where if they get in a situation where there's a full court press, like get the ball, put it under your arm, and like, hey, everybody get out of here. You're just dragging more guys in my way. I will beat this guy. Go down court. If they leave 3 guys here to defend me, I will pass the ball ahead and beat it with a pass. But this whole everybody running around in my way and nobody knows fire drill.
What that speaks to is exactly what you said. It's confusion, and it's totally explainable because these guys, you get together, you run your basic offense, that you're going to attack with, and it's going to mirror kind of what the Jazz do. You're going to have a defensive scheme, but some of the specials like a press break and things like that, yeah, you're probably you'll work on it, but probably not a ton. Will
Hardy's watching that game thinking, is he going to start the offense 20% of the time, 50% of the time? How often is Keontae George going to start it? Don't rule out Ace Bailey maybe starting the offense at times. There's a lot of different things they could do.
Oh, yeah. So
who gets the ball? Well, Will Hardy's going to say the guy who doesn't cough it up, because Will Hardy's going to say what every other coach says. You average 1 point, whatever points per possession on threes or on twos or on free throws. Well, you know what you average on turnovers? 0.
I would say this. There's 2 messages I want to get across. Number 1, yeah, this kid played great, but let's slow the roll for a lot of people. We tend to, in the sports world, overreact to one performance, good or bad. And, if my memory serves me right, Wemby had just an absolutely miserable couple of Summer League games to the point where I read articles, people saying, yeah, welcome here. You may be tall, but you're not. Look, man, whether you're good or bad, this is a long saga. This is a long journey. And legacies aren't built overnight. They're not built in one game. You said it exactly right. For that environment, what you wanted to see was a guy who understood how to play, not just understood how to play, but at an elite level. Because when you're drafting in the first couple of picks, you want to see that. You saw a guy that even though he had 8 turnovers, he didn't get sped up. Again, some of those were, early in the game, he made a couple of bad decisions. But just the nature of the way he played lends itself to the fact that he understands, like with that pick, he understands what's going to happen after an action. He's able to see down the road. And then, as I said, studying his tape, his footwork may be as good as anybody I've ever seen. His ability to get on balance, whether it's off the bounce, a shot fake, he showed it on that step back from the top of the key that was Harden-esque. He's just got great feet. And
that matters a lot.
It matters a lot.
When you're off balance, you tend to look weak and you tend to look awkward. And fans instinctively recognize that, but they may not be able to explain why they know what they know.
Exactly.
And you, as a coach, would say, and I know this because coaches have told me, yeah, the reason they look like that is their feet are jacked up. They're not balanced. And if I think a lot of people here who play junior Jazz basketball and go to camps, I think a high percentage of people here do. If you remember back to those camps, they work with you on the feet right away.
Balance is the first thing you talk about.
Yep.
Yeah, it's beef when you shoot. It's balance, eyes, elbow, and follow through. So balance in all parts of the game. Majerus used to talk about balance for big guys. When you get a rebound, to be able to keep that thing under your chin, but lower your center of gravity so you've got some torque.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go easy on the fact that this kid's going to be the next Kobe, because the truth of the matter is, careers have weird ways of having. You have a great night, you have a bad night. I saw an article today just to kind of back up what I'm saying. A.J. Dybansta has not played a game. He hasn't had anything that he's been able to do since the draft, but be the number 1 pick. And I saw an article today that Peterson's performance makes Wizards front office second guess their pick. I mean, how in the world, like we're talking about one guy playing one game against Summer League competition, and there is an overreaction. So let's slow the roll. I think in a positive sense, I like breaking the game down. And you said it. He made over half his shots.
11 to 21.
Didn't take a lot of – he may have taken a tough one here or there, but overall, I like the way he got his shots.
Yep.
Didn't feel like he paused the game to get his shots, all happened in the context. And then to answer your question, the fact that he is playing against Summer League guys, he's going to be able to do a few more things right now. But when he gets into game one of the regular season, which, again, is a far cry from game one of the playoffs in terms of intensity, I think it goes, though, game one, guys are pretty intense. Then you see it in the NBA Cup for a game or two, and you see it in the playoffs. But he's going to have an opportunity through that whole time to figure it out. And he's going to have veterans in every spot as he drives the ball. You said it. Lauri Markkanen's dead eye, doesn't have to dribble. If he's catch and shoot and he's open, Darren's job is going to be to find him. It's not going to be how will he handle it. This is a play hard and pass culture.
I'm curious, and we're getting way ahead of ourselves, but which players fit with which players?
Yeah,
because there's no reason to have the 4 scorers on the court. Well, depending on how it works out, 4 or 5 scorers on the court together at the same time. A lot of people crave that, and you'll get it for the last 5 minutes of the game. But the rest of the time, first off, one of them will probably miss a game, and then the others need to be staggered and figuring all that out. But I did wonder if Markkanen and Peterson would play well together, because you can't help off Lauri, but you're going to need help to stay in front of Peterson.
Well, yeah.
And that creates a little tension, right there.
Right. And honestly, the great opportunity that Will's going to have is to be able to carve out identities for both units. Mm-hmm. When you have a guy like Collier, who by just coming onto the court, he's going to change the tempo, pace, intensity, speed of the game. So in my mind, I think that's a great opportunity to get a running, a guy who can run with him as far as a big guy, that's out in front of things, that can set ball screens and transition and roll. And then, hey, man, as exciting as Darryn Peterson was, guys like Cody Williams and Ace Bailey, who looked very polished for where they've, Ace had a very, very good ending to the year, and he picked up right where he left off. And his confidence is higher. His know-how is higher. He's going to jump this year. You watch. Cody was a guy that everybody wanted to write off. They wanted to write off. I had buddies inside the Jazz organization that I've talked to, not in the basketball side, but just in the business side. And, they're like, do you think Cody can ever come around? I'm like, guys, he's 19 and he weighs about 140 pounds. Well, give him a little time.
He definitely had to get bigger.
That was the whole thing.
PK said earlier this morning he really just didn't belong in the league. He wasn't big and physical enough. And so then people say he looks timid. Well, he does, because he's getting bullied. Now he's big enough to stand up for that. And sure enough, what you see in the Summer League, you see a super aggressive straight line drive to the rim and a windmill dunk. Well, when you feel bigger and stronger and like people can't push you around, it impacts your mindset. I mean, the physical and the mental play off each other, for sure. But I will say with Cody, this team is they're committing money to a lot of people, and how are they going to pay Keontae? Cody needs to have a year. I really think Cody's where Keontae was a year ago. You got multiple doors to walk through here, 3 doors. Let's make a deal time. Door number 1, you're so good. They're like, this guy's a lockdown defensive guy, and you got to play him honestly. You can't help off him offensively. We need that. He doesn't need the ball and need a lot of shots. He could really carve out a well-paying role for himself, either with this team or in the league. Door number 2, you're good enough. You exist in the league. You're probably going to have to bounce around. And then door number 3, they're moving on to the next prospect. You're out. Go find a team in Europe.
You know what is
any of those things can happen
to those doors, and what differentiates those doors to me, because he can defend. He's a high-level defender, and his bulk is only going to help that. His confidence offensively and his ability to drive the ball is awesome. It's going to come down to whether he can make a 3. Like, this guy needs to be able to make 35%.
Because you can only have one non-shooter on the floor at a time,
right.
And that's going to need to be a defensive-oriented big man in most cases. Nurkic might give him a little breathing room.
Yeah, but also,
nonetheless, you're right. Define your NBA career. You got to fix that.
Yep, because he's got all the other things, and the confidence is all he was lacking. I said from the very first year, on pre-post all year long, because we have to talk a lot.
I heard.
But I said Cody's development will begin when his body gets to the point where he can compete at this level.
But they're going to need his money to pay Keontae next year. So he's really got to make sure he's earning it
Well,
if he's going to get it.
But to me this year, he addressed that in the offseason. He looks markedly better. And I'm telling you, just a little bit of confidence. I know it's Summer League, but for him, be on ESPN Sports Center to show that dunk, to get his name, and it does something to a guy because he's working hard and it's paying dividends, and you go, man, I got to keep this up.
But he's got to bring his three-point shooting up.
That's big.
12 to 15 points.
Yeah, and that's not easy to do. But I would dare say a lot of that, he was stuck in bad situations because he couldn't get anywhere off the bounce.
Yeah.
And then,
so if they play off him because they respect his ability to go by him, it's going to make it easier to shoot the three.
Right, but also having some success will change it. And it's not going to change it 12 to 15 points in a year, but I like Cody's growth. I like his path, and development isn't linear. This is a perfect example. Because all guys are dealing with different weaknesses, and some things you can address way quicker than others.
Cody shot 26% from three as a rookie and 21.5% in his second year.
Yeah, I mean, that to me is going to be whether that kid is here, because I love his mindset. I love his hustle. I love the fact that he's had to play through adversity. Sometimes you like to see guys who are forgotten about, and you're not going to forget about me. So some of those guys that climb out of a pit, and it's really not even fair to say he was in a pit, because it's really, I heard you guys talking about it, it's the nature of the game now. You can't get too old in college.
Right.
But you can't get, or you're forgotten.
And he had a bunch of injuries, so he didn't even get a full season of college. He really didn't even get a half season of college.
Right. And the glimpses you saw of him were the things you talk about, his body, his wingspan, his ability to effective defensively. So, yeah, I mean, he's got to be able to prove that he can make a shot at this level.
All right, David James, Tim Lacombe, the coach. More in a moment right here on The Zone.
Scotty G and the coach, Tim Lacombe. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK has turned into DJ and the coach, Tim Lacombe. And briefly, it's going to turn here momentarily into Scotty G and the coach, Tim Lacombe. In addition to watching Summer League basketball, do you watch any other sports? It's a crazy weekend for golf. I know you golf a little bit. A World Cup, I found that Sunday's two games were wildly entertaining.
They were wild.
Yeah.
I have actually fallen into that pond and watched a little soccer.
Okay. And then crazy baseball with the Marlins had a perfect game through 7, but 23-year-old. He's 6'8", and he's 23. He's from the Dominican, so of course he doesn't play basketball. He plays baseball. And he's coming off the injured list. I think he actually had the Tommy John, too.
It's Perez, right?
Yes.
Yuri Perez. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got to see him pitch last year against the Red Sox, or 2 years ago.
You can't forget him because he's 6'8", right?
Oh, dude, and he threw.
I didn't know anything about him. I had to look him up. I'm like,
I've got his baseball cards, bro.
Okay. All right.
That's how I stay relevant in baseball. You got to have cards.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I kind of know what I'm doing. And a bunch of moves by the Mammoth, like crazy trades, and seems like that team's just getting more and more ready.
They're adding some vets to go for it.
Some
toughness. I like that they're giving up some of the prospects, but not the best ones, because I think they have more prospects than roster spots. So you got to look and say, who's the best prospect for us? And we're so deep. This prospect has value. It'll actually help Team X, whoever they're making a deal with, and move them and give them a chance and clear their path. There's no point in having them bottled up and having them not happy and able to get, and then you don't get any value for them.
But it's fun to see, went through the whole rebuild and with the Jazz, and, the Walker Kessler thing over the weekend, that was a detour. That felt like a detour to me. I mean, to me, that guy was always in the plan.
I was surprised by the timing. They liked him. They didn't love him. Back before Austin was involved, when Danny Ainge, after the rookie year, did some studies. Okay, it was a Luke.
But that's
everybody
Danny.
else was fired up. It is.
Danny will always dampen. You know what I mean? He'll always, because he wants the guys to have a chance.
But fans will always, and not just Jazz fans. I lived in Santa Barbara. It's a huge Laker town. And Eldon Campbell's great. Yeah, Eldon Campbell is great when he's playing with Kareem and Worthy, and maybe I should mention this guy named Magic.
I actually like the Perkins angle better. I like the stretch.
Yeah, right. But Perkins was a much more accomplished NBA player than Eldon Campbell.
But they freaked out over Eldon Campbell.
Oh, they loved Eldon. They loved Eldon. But the guy who works hard who seems like a good guy, who knows his place in the NBA and is scrapping to keep it, always appeals to fans. That player, and Eldon Campbell, was like that. He worked hard. He battled. He was a poor man's Kurt Rambis. his battling. People loved Rambis, and people loved him too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they overvalued him. It's like, well, when he's gone, this guy will carry. He's not going to carry anything.
My thoughts on it are, I think Walker, in the end, his people felt like he could get more, and he did.
I suspect not as much as they thought he was going to get.
Not as much, and
I
really,
think they thought the mid to high 30s, and then it ended up being low 30s.
But I think the important part of this is the Jazz, and you guys said this earlier, as you're doing this, you have to be really conscious, particularly in certain positions, and center's one of them. You don't want to overpay. You just can't get locked into a deal.
I think in every position, what percentage of the cap are you giving away? Why did the Celtics make the move they made? Hey, there's hard feelings, but there are plenty of places where they get over the hard feelings. And they didn't, and I think the reason they didn't was money. It's like they had two guys pulling on too much of the cap, and they loved Tatum more than Brown. Now, I don't know if you want to, one guy's an A and the other guy's an A minus, or one guy's an A minus, one guy's a B plus. I don't know, do whatever you want. But they like Tatum 10% more than they like Brown. And the new owners, not paying that luxury tax. I'm not to bring this up with PK, and I forgot. A lot of people, and I think PK falls into this camp because he said it. He said, I want to talk about talent, I want to talk about money. But the two are now linked. I was talking to Austin the day he was introduced and talking about the rebuild and what's the timeline for the rebuild. And he's like, and he was non-committal, we'll see. When opportunity knocks, you got to seize it. That opportunity could knock in a week, in a month, in a year. You just have to be ready when it does. So there's no point in putting a timeline on it. You don't know when somebody else is going to be ready to make a deal, and you don't control that. All makes sense. He says, and then he looped back and he said, but it has gotten to the point where contracts are more important than talent, because the owners are simply saying, no, we're not paying that second apron, quadruple luxury tax, no, we're not paying it. And the list of people who pay it is very short, and it doesn't last for very long. The Warriors are paying. The Warriors have done some paying. They've written some checks there. But they're not willing to do it forever. And so you see
those championships
these
were highly leveraged. They're still paying for
But
it.
if you get four of them,
I guess
it's the price you pay.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
But they have new ownership in Boston. They're not going to do it. And I really think whatever's happening behind the scenes, whatever the analytics say, whatever the emotions and the personalities are, there's also an owner like, we're not going over that number. Now Oklahoma City got to 250. They're $30 million over the number. And we start seeing them whacking guys who are making $8, $10, $12 million bucks. And 240, 230, 220. We see what you're doing. And we see the number you're trying to get to. I can see it. But they got a championship. The Spurs haven't had to do it yet, but they will. Their day will come, but their guys are still on rookie contracts, so they're okay for now. And the Thunder haven't had to go into the core. So if you're in one of these fantasy leagues, this is what I meant to bring up with PK. Some fantasy leagues, you just have the draft. When I play fantasy football, that's what my college buddies and I do. And, if you draft, it's a 10-team league. If you draft 10th, you draft 11th, and it just rotates. But there are other things, and I think it's more a baseball thing, but maybe it's a football thing. I just haven't done it, where it's like an auction, and everybody has a certain budget. So if you want to go get the best player and use 50% of your money, great. But now you only got 50% of your money left. And so there's a whole strategy. That's what the NBA's turned into.
Oh, 100%.
And it's more... Well, it's cutthroat in a different way than the NFL. In the NFL, they'll spend and go over because they know they don't have guaranteed money and they can renegotiate with players. But where everything's guaranteed in the NBA, you can't. So once you do it, you've done it. And I did think they didn't like Kessler at the number in the 30s, but I thought the number one priority was don't lose him for nothing the way you lost Hayward for nothing. Granted, it was different management ownership. But the franchise can't afford that. So I figured that they would sign him and then figure it out, and there was a trade coming in, sooner, not later. And what I missed on completely was trade was not coming sooner or later. Trade was coming soonest. I thought they're going to have to do something in 2 years. If they sign him for a lot of money, they're going to have to do something in 1 year.
1 year.
But it turned out they decided to do something today as opposed to, hey, let's test drive. We can afford it for a year. Let's test drive it, and then we'll make a move. But the Angels, as has been written many times, are all about leverage. They had leverage on the Lakers. Lakers have new owners. General manager hired by previous owner had better look good or he's out. So he was highly motivated to do a deal, and they start talking to him about draft picks in 2031 and 33, and you can say he blew it and he overreached, and I would say he doesn't know if he's going to be here in 2029. What the heck does he care about a draft pick in 2033? Yeah. I mean, he's got to fix it now, because if this year doesn't go well, I'm not even guaranteeing that he gets another year. Maybe he does. I don't know their timeline.
Will this year go well?
So
Speaking
it will
of
go well by
expectations and
NBA
hype.
standards, but it will not be up to Lakers standards, because Lakers standards are championship or bust. And I don't think that they're on the top level. I think they're on the next tier. Now, in this volatile era with injuries, maybe, I mean, I think the Knicks got from the next tier. I didn't think the Knicks were on the top tier.
No, they jumped up, yep.
But they did it in the East. They only had to win one playoff series, didn't have to win 2 or 3. And in the West, you probably have to beat the Spurs and the Thunder, or the Thunder and the Spurs, whatever the order, depending on the seeding. And then the finals probably aren't going to be easy. Occasionally they are, but usually they aren't. I think that West is deeper than the East, but when you get to the finals, I think in like the last 12 years, I think it's like 7-5. The West has a slight advantage, but only slight. Toronto broke through with the help of an injury. New York, you can argue New York had the matchups to beat the Spurs and not the Thunder, and was fortunate the Thunder had the 2 injuries. And the Thunder also weren't perfect. They didn't shoot the 3 well enough. They did miss 2 rotation guys who could have made the difference in a 7-gamer.
Very big.
A starter and a sub.
Yep.
And then the Knicks have done well against the Thunder, but they've done poorly against – the Knicks have done well against the Spurs, but the Knicks have done poorly against the Thunder. So maybe they caught a break, but you catch breaks sometimes. That's the nature of the playoffs.
That's why you have to – that's why you keep fighting. That's why health is a huge thing. I mean, just never, ever know.
But everybody's making money decisions, not talent decisions.
Yeah. And honestly, I call it salary Tetris. There's certain places that things will fit, and otherwise you got to pass.
And maybe it'll be wrong, but I think that they overpaid Lowry. And I think – and Geltzeiler was right about this. Like, isn't Jackson overpaid? To which Geltzeiler, when he's on, is like, the only reason the Jazz could trade for him is because he is overpaid. He says there are a lot of cases where if you want a $30 million player, you got to pay him 40, or a $40 million player, you got to pay him 50. You overpay guys by 5, 10, 15 million bucks all the time, because if you don't, someone else will. They'll take the most money. And you may full well know what you're doing, but if you want to get the player, you have to. That's the only way you get the player, because someone else will pay more, and Kessler's a great example of that. But at some point, you have to draw a line, because you know you're going to be bouncing up against the cap. You've already consciously overpaid 2 guys. And Sheyhan Jeyarajah is going to have to be signed, and what he's signed for will be determined, I think, by what this next year looks like, what his number turns out to be.
Yeah, I mean, they wanted the same type of thing. And I feel like, again, in this world, the Jazz are choosing to deal with information that is current. You sign a deal right now, you don't know what's going to happen a year from now. You don't know what's going to happen this year. So while it's probably frustrating to agents and players, I think it's actually probably on a guy that, as you're building this thing, fits for a period of time, but then has to do some things extra and above to fit longer. You need to take the time to evaluate that. So I mean, I know it's been criticized, but I like the tact.
What's been criticized?
Just the Jazz
trade?
waited. Yeah. No, not the trade, but that they didn't, maybe could have locked him up a year ago or.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think we know the number they could have locked him up for. I think he and his agent gauged his market correctly. Now, you can say he's not worth that. Well, he is if somebody will pay it. He is if somebody will pay it.
He got it, yeah.
Now, is he worth it if you're doling out how much you pay everybody on a championship roster? Probably not. But what does the player care about that? You've got a short period of time to earn the maximum amount of money, and every player probably believes they're better than they are, and they also believe they're going to improve in it, even if they're not. So everyone played their role rationally, and we ended up where we ended up. Yeah, and what we didn't know is that LeBron would opt out with the Lakers, and they'd have cap room. If he stays, then the Lakers...
I think that was all spurred by Luka's demand to get him a big guy. And so I almost feel like LeBron was kind of almost like, hey, you're leaving, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So it all...
But that's why he's going to do this world tour. Hey, I still have value. You shouldn't have pushed me out. I think this world tour, as much as people think it's for his own ego, yeah, but I think it's to make a point to the Lakers.
Which is his own ego.
Yes, it is. It does cycle back.
But you can't when you get to even Michael Jordan, you can't talk about those guys talking about ego because it all begins and ends there.
If they didn't have the ego, they never would have gotten there in the first place.
Right. I mean, it's how you've climbed the corporate ladder.
See, we just sit in this chair. You just start channeling PK. Does something rub off on the chair?
I don't know. I mean, no, you are, one of the biggest names in the state. So,
Okay.
And I know you've crushed a lot of people to get there. That is not true. You've been such a good advocate to this young guy.
I was a weekend sports guy for 30 years. I don't see the crushing happening there
what you
anywhere.
did is you just worked, and you kept a great attitude. And the one thing I'll say about you, Deej, you keep a smile on your face. You keep things pretty light.
If we're doing this and we're not having fun, we're doing it wrong.
That's right.
And having watched people who do this who are all miserable and all, I'm like, then go do something that pays more. There are a lot of things that pay more. This pays less because it's fun. Now, it pays more than other stuff. I mean, it's all a sliding scale. If you want more, there's always more, but you got to do something. And one reason local media caps out where it does, which can be in a really good spot to be sure, is it's fun. There are people who leave the media and go into fields like, say, insurance. Might not be as fun.
But they'll make more money.
They make more money. Yeah.
See, it's all.
But
just,
it all
comes back to salary slots. Salary.
As my grandfather used to say all the time, you pays your money and you makes your choice. So there you go.
Well said, Gramps.
He had some state fair carnival thing going on there when he said that. Yeah, I don't know. He used to love to say that. So.
Well, thank you for keeping
no
the
worries.
seat warm.
Scotty G ready to go? Is he all dialed up?
We'll be good.
Really? Well, if not, I'll just do 15 more. I mean, this is a short segment. If you stay on time.
Well, we'll surprise the listener.
I don't know what's going to happen next. Stay tuned and find out for yourself. Stay with us right here on The Zone.
Utah is right here, right here. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Gerard, the coach, Tim LaComb. Hey, thanks for holding down the fort.
What's up, my guy?
My guy.
Appreciate it. I missed you. I missed you over the weekend.
Oh, man, I missed you. I missed the show. I missed even like on Friday. I missed talking about stuff. There's all kinds of good stuff going on, man. I am so fired up to get back here.
You were in Idaho.
I was in Idaho with the fam. It was just absolutely awesome. Great. We always get together. We don't do the family reunion very much, and but every 4th of July we get everybody together, and it was awesome. On the Snake River, things were beautiful. The water was clear, calm. My son's ripping out the most ugliest carp you've ever seen.
Boyd was telling me about that.
I didn't get a reaction from you on that. I sent you a text that was gold.
Did I not send you this, Coach?
It's horrifying.
Still not reacting, huh?
I am. What?
No, him.
Oh.
Look at the size of that thing. And look how ugly that is.
Holy cow. It's like patinaed.
It looks like it swam through acid.
Well, I mean, those carp up there, they're nasty. They're nasty. So, yeah, but they put up a good fight. They're fun to catch. They're just, you don't do it. You, can't get rid of them fast enough once you catch them.
Man, that thing is...
I would have cut the line on that thing. I'm not touching that. That thing looked like it was going to burn a hole in your hand.
World's ugliest fish.
It's like Quado. Or what was it? What was the Total Recall?
No, it's worse than Quado. I said, so the GIF I sent you is of the RoboCop guy, the acid guy.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I sent you. That's what it reminded me of. Its skin was peeling off. That thing's horrible.
It's disgusting. How was your 4th, Lloyd?
It was excellent. Had a nice barbecue over at some friends that, where the kids swam at a pool and had a slip and slide, and it was great.
Nice. Nothing
more American and 250 than a slip and slide in a swimming pool.
Let's go.
It's more American than football.
My kid was like, we always wanted a slip and slide, but you never would let us have one. I'm like, I would let you have a slip and slide. And my wife's
After
like,
what it does to the yard?
And my wife's like, you know what that does to the grass? I'm like, oh, that's right. I wouldn't let you have a slip and slide.
So they had this big, giant blow-up one, almost like those jump house size. It was like the size, it was a shark. I'll send you a picture of it. Like, this thing was so big, and you should have seen the water and the hole of mud that it created in their yard. And I was just like, oh, I'm so glad this is not my house.
Yeah. Hey,
Grass can be repaired.
memories.
It's the
But
memories.
cannot.
Memories last forever. That little pit, only maybe 6 months.
Hey, so I tweeted this out. I'm a firm believer that, and I've always said this for years and years and years, ever since I saw Darryn Williams in his first Summer League game, when he looked darn right pedestrian. And I'm like, don't ever get too high or don't ever get too low when it comes to Summer League
That's the
performances.
speech I've been giving.
And I'm telling you right now, Darryn Peterson is testing me on that one.
He's breaking it for you?
He's testing me a little bit on that one because I'm watching that. I'm like, okay, don't get too high, don't get too high, don't get too. But kid looked really good.
He looked great. And honestly, I loved his, after the game when they talked to him, his media availability, because he talked about some of the things he didn't get to. I need to block out better. He made some of those comments. I can do a better job here. I can do a better job there. So I love the mindset. Had 8 turnovers, and I would speak. That's probably just a bunch of guys getting to know each other.
Yeah.
Zigging when somebody should be zagging, that sort of thing. But what really stood out to me, and it's what we talked about, the dude's just a scorer. In the very first play of the game, he gets the ball, and I can't remember who it was. I think it was Ace, came to run, set a screen, and he basically waved Ace through and called the big up because he knew that he's got a good chance at the angle he was going to be at, right at the top of the key. So as he came off, that dude's right foot was too low. He beat him to the spot and got all the way to the rim. He made those types of decisions all night long. And hopefully you saw my favorite feature, his feet.
Yeah.
The way he organizes his feet in a crowd, step backs, things like that. Really, really has great feet.
You mentioned the feet, the balance.
Balance is huge.
And
Yeah.
that's something that, us average talking heads who haven't coached at the level or been around the game the way you have, we don't talk about balance. But that's why I love your perspective, is those are things that we don't pick up on, but you saw that immediately with him.
And I will be quick to say, I think the fan reaction, whether a player comes in and plays really well, in the case of Darryn Peterson, or my mind is, is long. It goes back long enough to remember Wemby's first game. And he spent more time on the ground rolling around.
Yeah.
And people were, come on, this kid he's supposed to be Wilt Chamberlain. It takes a minute, guys. This is a tough deal to break in. And Darryn did exactly what we'd hoped he'd do. He went out there. He took kind of the leadership role between he and Ace. I thought they played well off each other. And he was efficient. I loved his efficiency. He didn't go out there and just cast a ton of shots up. His shots had purpose. And so it's a great starting point. But tonight he could go 0 for 8
Yeah.
from the 3. I mean, you just never know. So same people that are praising him today, just make sure along the process. I was at Kobe's game in rookie year. They're sitting 3rd row in the Mr. Max seats. And I watched Kobe airball that pivotal shot as a rookie. And I, got up out of my seat and I wanted to say, see, he's nothing.
Yeah.
But long memory. Majerus talked about having a long memory, and players have to have a short memory and get on to the next game. And hopefully Darryn will just pick up where he left off. But man, I love everything about what he showed. But I will say that's what you hope a second pick would do against a bunch of Summer League guys.
Well, and the one thing that I was really thrilled about is Ace Bailey came in and looked like
he picked up right where he left off.
Right where he left off. And that's I want to see second-year guys like what I saw from Darryn in that first game was what I want to see out of a second-year player. Because I have high expectations for a second-year guy. I don't have any expectations for a rookie. But a second-year guy, you've been around the league. You played NBA games. You should be able to dominate at that level. And I saw Ace Bailey have stretches where it's like, okay, yep, that's a guy that's been around the league for a bit.
Yeah, he's playing with a great confidence, a definite purpose. You can see that he's bulked up. And speaking of bulked up, Cody Williams.
Yeah.
Cody Williams. And I said this way back when during the pre and posts, I would talk about Cody early. And, people wanted him to be great because he was the 10th pick. And I kept saying he will advance slowly, but he will actually be able to compete once he puts on enough weight where he can play on balance. Because you watched Darryn was on balance all game, and Cody was hardly on balance his entire first couple of years because if he took a hit, he's the guy that's reeling from the hit. And so he's lived in that weight room, and it's done wonders for his confidence. His strength is actually affecting his confidence. And I think the next step for Cody now, he's got to be able to, I know he can guard, and he's getting really great in open floor, driving, that sort of thing. Add that 3-point shot to it. He's got to become more consistent. 21 and 26%. For a guy like him, that's going to be what his career is how he shoots the three.
Realistically, where if you got to this number, you would considering where he started, if he can get to X percentage, that's a win for him.
For some reason, like when a guy shoots 33, when I would look at a box, it's just good enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
3 of 9.
And then you get people, the key to it is not just that you make threes and you get 3 points. The key to it is when you can't shoot, it disrupts spacing.
Yeah.
Because your guy's playing 5 to 7 feet off of you at the nearest block, at the nearest elbow, and their whole job is to gum up everything. So cutters and everything, they're whacking them. If somebody drives it, they got an extra guy in there to muddy it up. So if you can get guys playing correctly, and when you catch the ball, you're a threat, and you give them an eyebrow raise, that's sometimes is as good as a screen.
Yes.
Right? But the key to it is they have to think you're going to make it. They have to really try urgently to get to you, and then you've got them. And that's what he's got to get to.
The great Sheyhan Jeyarajah, CBS Sports, is going to join us next. We'll see Sheyhan coming up tomorrow in Frisco, Texas. It's Big 12 Media Day kicking off mañana. We will talk to him about that next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Ladies and gentlemen,
The biggest name. You're locked on to Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Such a great song. There's some songs that, I don't care where you're at on the musical spectrum. I don't care what you like, what you don't like. I don't care. You hear this song, you immediately, start just nodding your head a little bit. This is iconic in terms of everybody. This is a song that's impossible not to like.
It makes me want to grab one of those slim weed, that you pull off. What are they called?
A little.
You know what I'm talking.
Little stock. Yeah.
Stock the weed and just throw that in your mouth. And you got to be careful when you talk about weed in your mouth.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays. But
a little grain stock. Yeah.
Yeah. Just country makes you want to be country. What are we doing with the set list today? By the way, Lloyd.
Oh, that's a good point.
Because I sent it in, but
you didn't have Fishing in the Dark. This wasn't
I didn't have
yours?
any of these on my set list. So I know there's been, it's busy around here.
It's been a crazy day,
right, so.
For sure. All right, we will see this guy coming up tomorrow. He'll all you need to do is if you're watching video streams of maybe press conferences, find the best dressed dude in the place, and that's going to be Sheyhan Jeyarajah. He joins us now, CBS Sports, kind enough to hang out with us. Sheyhan, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
You got the wardrobe all picked out for the next couple days?
I'm preparing. The nice thing about this one is that since it's a home game, I have my whole wardrobe available to me. So
that's right.
Bring out something special.
Yeah, no Vegas here, man. It's this is a home game. Yeah, that's right.
Hey, man, I get to hang with Sheyhan. Can't believe it. I get to meet in person. I'll be the second best dressed. I'm packing my sport coat. I'll wear that over a T-shirt or something, but that will at least get me in the running.
I think so too. The thing is, right, whenever you go to these events, it's kind of evenly split. People, dressing a little bit professionally and people just showing up in anything. And so, that was one of the reasons why, when I first got into sports writing, I'm like, man, these writers don't dress for anything, man. I think that I can outdo them.
No, a golf shirt that's about 2 sizes too small from a bowl game from 10 years ago. And tucked into tight jeans. It's just come on. We can classy this up a little bit. Let's go. Hey, Sheyhan, some big storylines, obviously. What are the 2 or 3 things that you're really looking at going into this thing tomorrow?
Yeah, it's interesting, right? I mean, look, let's obviously acknowledge we're going to get a lot of Brendan Sorsby conversation as this is the first time that Texas Tech and Brett Yormark have been under the gun. But let's put that aside for a second. I think we've talked plenty about that the past couple of weeks. For me, it's really about it being a period of transition, I think, in the Big 12. There are so many coaches in this conference that were mainstays who are now gone. I'm thinking Kyle Whittingham at Utah, Mike Gundy at Oklahoma State, Chris Kleiman at Kansas State, Matt Campbell at Iowa State. Like, these are guys who have really been the face of the conference for so many years. And I think that actually creates a little bit of a vacuum for some of these new guys to potentially step up. Now, look, I think that Joey McGuire and Kalani Sitake are kind of in that conversation, right, after what they've done the past few years. Kenny Dillingham as well, I think brand-wise is also one of those coaches who's breaking out on the national scene. But I absolutely think that there's an opportunity for, even at media days, for somebody to come out and really kind of establish themselves as a name and a face to watch. I think back, obviously I'm a Baylor grad, back in 2017, Baylor coach Matt Rule took the podium for the first time. And after his talk, everybody was like, oh, okay, we get it now, right? I think that there's an opportunity for some other coaches to potentially do that as well. I'm thinking of a Morgan Scalley at Utah. I'm thinking of a Colin Klein coming to Kansas State, where he obviously led them to a 12-win season just 13 years ago. So, this is, I think, a big opportunity for a lot of coaches, and I'm excited to see who takes that opportunity.
A lot of explosive names on offense in the league this year, but probably none more than LJ Martin, who's decided to come back and play at BYU. How big is that for BYU, Sheyhan, and what do you expect from LJ in this in his return year here?
Yeah, it's absolutely massive, right? I mean, this is a player who I think back to 2 years ago, right? I mean, all sorts of efficiency numbers, the tape, they all said like he had the potential to be one of the best running backs in the Big 12. And in 2025, we finally got a full healthy season out of him. And he was clearly, to me, the best running back in the Big 12. And in 2026, I think he could be a top 5 running back in the country, if not more than that, potentially. So when you talk about its impact on BYU, I think it's huge in terms of bringing along that offense. Like, look, Bear Bachmeier, I expect to be a big time player, but again, we have a lot of questions heading into that wide receiver room as well. So being able to run the ball at a high level, I think will be huge for this team. And look, I mean, Texas Tech, I think, is a little more beatable with Will Hammond in the lineup than what they would have been with Brendan Sorsby. BYU absolutely has the roster, has the juice, has the talent to be able to win the conference if some things break right. And LJ Martin's a huge part of that.
If BYU, now look, okay, I know injuries and all of that can come into play. It's a long season, but as of right now, is it Big 12 championship game or bust for BYU?
I think it is. And I mean, I think that when I look at the Big 12 right now, I mean, I do think that we are probably going to get a rematch of what we saw last year in the Big 12 title game with Texas Tech and BYU. I think that right now they're ahead above the rest of the league. And there are other teams that can certainly get close. Utah's still going to be really talented. I think that watching Houston and Arizona this year is going to be interesting. I think TCU could play spoiler. But like when you look at one, what they've brought back, two, Kalani Sitake's decision to turn down Penn State and stay in Provo, three, I think also just the level of investment that's been put into this program by BYU. Like, this is a team that should expect to be there. Now, you kind of ask, like, is this Big 12 or bust? I mean, look, this is a team that I think for the next 5 years should expect to be contending for the Big 12 title game every year. If they miss out based on a tiebreaker or something, I don't think people are going to see this as a failed season by any means, but they should absolutely expect to be there at the end of the year, and they should be in the 10-win conversation. They should be in the college football playoff conversation again.
Every preseason, prediction that I've been able to look at, has a variation of BYU and Texas Tech 1-2. But Utah's pretty much solid at 3 in most things I've looked at. Houston, I guess, is another one hanging out there. But with Utah, what do they have to do to unseat Texas Tech and be better than BYU this year? Because they really don't have, a player per se. But what do they have to do as a team, and certainly with a new coach, to be able to jump into that mix?
I think the biggest thing for them heading into the year is they really have to establish an identity on offense, because last year we saw it, right? I mean, this was one of the best offenses in the Big 12 with Jason Beck, of course, running some of his option stuff with an offensive line that was arguably the best in the entire country last year. And I just don't know that there are those obvious pieces and players, like you said, in 2026. Now, it helps a lot. They've got two quarterbacks that I feel really excited about in Devin Dampier and Bird Ficklin. But, again, it's going to be behind more of a new look offensive line with a new look offense as well, with a new offensive coordinator coming in. The other thing, too, is that I think that they have to continue to develop their depth on both sides of the ball, because they did lose some key pieces over the offseason after the departure of Kyle Whittingham. So, look, I think that they were clearly good enough to win the Big 12 last year. They just happened to lose the two that they couldn't lose this year. Well, they don't get Texas Tech this year. That's certainly going to be huge. They get BYU in Salt Lake City this year instead of having to go to Provo. So, again, it's more going to be, can you get back to that level that you were at last year than necessarily having to take a giant step.
Sheyhan Jeyarajah, CBS Sports, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. There's always somebody that comes out of nowhere that you're not expecting to really challenge. Who do you think that team is this year?
Yeah, you could probably make a list of 6 or 7 of those teams this year, because I think the league, again, after that top 2 potentially could be really, really tight. I mentioned them earlier, though. TCU, I think, is a team that has actually gotten pretty undervalued over the past couple of years, because, look, they haven't been in the Big 12 title discussion since they went to the national championship game in 2022. But this is a team that's won 18 games over the past 2 years. And I know that a lot of people are pointing out that they lost quarterback Josh Hoover, but I actually think that Jaden Craig coming in from Harvard could potentially lead to very little downside at the position. And I actually love the addition as well of Gordon Samus, the offensive coordinator coming over from UConn. This is a team that I expect to be more balanced on offense, and defensively under Andy Avalos, they've actually done a really good job these past couple of years. So, I think that if you ask people, I don't think that they'd realize that TCU has been the best recruiting program in the Big 12 over the past 5 years, ahead of Utah, ahead of Texas Tech, ahead of everybody. This is a year where I think that maybe some of that talent really is able to pay off.
Throw some names at me, high-level names of guys that you expect big things from across the league this year. Maybe a name or so from offense, defense.
Yeah, look, this is going to be, I think, an opportunity for so many players to come up. I think that certainly for me on defense, Isaiah Glasgow at BYU is a guy that I think, could have been in the All-America discussion last year if he wasn't a little overshadowed by his teammate Jack Kelly as well at times. I think that Glasgow is going to have a chance to maybe even be the Big 12 Player of the Year, although he'll have some competition in his own defense with Keanu Tanuvasa and Faletau Satuala as well. But Glasgow, I think, is the kind of disruptive player who just can really change an entire team. Offense, it's so interesting, right? You mentioned LJ Martin. I think that Texas Tech's running back room led by Cam Dickey is going to have a chance to be really good. So I'm actually going to go with a little bit of an off-the-board pick. I'm going to go Trey Spivey, the wide receiver at Arizona. I think he's going to be a really good fit in a second year with Noah Fafita at quarterback. And again, this is an Arizona offense that really found itself to end the year. So I think that he's potentially a player that can step up, but like Amarion Miller at Arizona State is another player, right? DJ Lagway at Baylor coming in. There are so many players in this conference that I think have a chance to go big. I didn't even mention Drew Mestemaker as yet, the quarterback at Oklahoma State. This I think is going to be a really interesting year, especially on offense.
Do you see a world that exists where the Big 12 might get 2 teams into the college football playoff?
I do. I 100% do. I think that last year for BYU, right? Like they were the second team out. And frankly, to me, I think they should have been in, and their schedule kind of didn't do them any favors. Well, I think this year the schedule does them a lot more favors. And I'm actually looking at one game in particular for BYU that potentially could change everything. They don't have to win it, but if they play Notre Dame close, I think that changes the way that people look at this BYU team. I think that people kind of looked at them as, well, they played one elite team and they got crushed both times against Texas Tech. I think that playing Notre Dame as well, and I think is a really big opportunity for them to show, hey, we are at that top level of team. And the other thing too is that I think that this could easily be a team that finishes 11-1, could be right there, could play a closer game against Texas Tech. Again, I think that those are the two best options that the Big 12 has. But also, again, like there's a team like TCU that could get into the mix. There's a team like Houston that could get into the mix. I think there'll be more teams in that 11-1 conversation. But again, I think that really that Notre Dame game is going to be the biggest opportunity that the Big 12 has to play their way in.
Big 12, obviously the football preseason awards will be given out, or announced. But in terms of Defensive Player of the Year, I just saw an article that 11 guys were polled across the league, media members, and Ben Roberts was chosen as the preseason Defensive Player of the Year. Also receiving votes, there were 4 names, and they're all Texas Tech. So I assume Texas Tech is going to pick up where they left off defensively.
Yeah, they 100% are. And look, this is a situation, right? We're not going to see them have the kind of defensive line that they had in 2025. They are going to be good. They brought in a couple of key pieces, Trey White from San Diego State kind of being the headliner there. But I think that this is actually going to be a team that's built much more on the middle and back end than necessarily on the front end. Ben Roberts, like you mentioned, I mean, he is one of those guys who's just been in this program for a bunch of years. John Curry as well, and Austin Romaine. Like, this is the best linebacking core in the Big 12, maybe the best in the country. I think you could make a pretty good argument. Bryce Pollock as well on the back end at cornerback. I think outside of Leonard Moore, the great cornerback at Notre Dame, he has a case to be the next best potentially. So this is going to be the best defense in the Big 12. But I will tell you what, like you said, for one, I think that having so many guys, maybe that impacts the way that you're able to vote for a Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. And again, there are other teams that I think that certainly have the ability to be in that mix, especially like we kind of mentioned earlier, Isaiah Glasgow leading that BYU defense. So, I think that Ben Roberts would be a very worthy choice, but I'm curious to see what direction the voters go.
Could we see at the end of the season looking back and say, wow, the 2 best quarterbacks in the conference are in the state of Utah with Bear Bachmeier and Devin Dampier?
I mean, it's an interesting question, right? Like, this is as open a year as I can remember in the Big 12 at the quarterback position. I'm kind of like, I'm kind of fielding Noah Fafita as my sort of default quarterback one. I think he's earned that right and responsibility with what he's done these past couple of years. But I mean, again, I don't think that he's so dominant by any means that he is definitely going to own that spot. Now, I will say, I think that Drew Mestemaker at Oklahoma State has a chance to be one of the most productive passers in the country. Again, I think that he's potentially a player that will be a big time playmaker. There's also a lot of quarterbacks in the state of Texas too. I mentioned DJ Lagway, Jaden Craig, Connor Wigman as well. And while I don't think Will Hammond is going to be the best in the conference, I do think that he has a chance to be pretty darn good. So, for me, it's going to be a question of, well, how much more can those quarterbacks add in the drop back passing game? That wasn't something that they were necessarily asked to do a lot in 2025. That's going to need to be a bigger part of their arsenal for them to win at the highest level. So I think there's a pathway, but for me, I would probably go against right now.
So I'm going to throw Alcorn or Abilene Christian, Abilene Christian and Oregon State out of the mix on this, and just look at that Houston game on September 18th for Tech. What is the likelihood, in your opinion, right now, again, speculating a bit, that Will Hammonds is the starter for that game?
Yeah, I think he will be. We've heard that he's been on track in his recovery since tearing his ACL in October. They kind of like counting out were like, I think it's like August 18th or something like that is officially 9 months out from his injury. And they feel like that's going to be a good opportunity for him to get back into workouts. And there's no need to rush him onto the field until week 3. And, again, talking to people around that program, I think that it would be possible to get Will Hammond back on the field for week 1. There's just not really a good reason to do so with, like you mentioned, Abilene Christian and Oregon State being those first 2 games. So I do expect him back. I do expect him relatively healthy. The thing is, though, I expect a lot of rust for Will Hammond in that first game. He won't have even really have gone through fall camp, much less spring camp, because of that injury. So I do think he's going to be on the field. I also think it could be a little bit of an ugly game for him.
One of the worst things you can do in life is assume, but I'm going to go ahead and do so. BYU, prior to playing Notre Dame, plays 5 games, all of which I think they should win. TCU on the road will be tough. Arizona at home, but I think they can get through it. Is there a chance that Notre Dame, BYU, you talked about it being kind of that big game for the Big 12, but could that be massive as Notre Dame's going to be preseason number 1? BYU could be undefeated. That could be a wild weekend, and I hear there's a great band playing that weekend as well at the show. Yeah.
No, 100%. I mean, this is going to be, I think, one of the biggest games in the Big 12 this year. Again, and I don't think it's one that necessarily BYU has to win, but they absolutely have to look like they belong on the field for the Big 12 to be treated as a serious conference during the college football playoff selection process. And, so this is, I think, a huge opportunity for BYU. Like you said, Notre Dame is, I think, at worst going to be top 5 in the country at that point. Really good chance, and especially since one of Texas or Ohio State will have a loss, that they're top 2 or 3 potentially at that point. And this is also, by the way, a huge game for Notre Dame. Like, Notre Dame doesn't have a whole lot of interesting stuff on their schedule. This is going to be the game that circled most on their calendar, going on the road to play in Provo at BYU. So no, this is going to be a huge game, obviously nationally televised type of game. I expect that it's going to be the big conversation piece heading in, the way that Texas Tech versus BYU was last year. And again, if BYU is able to win that game, I mean, it would be, I'm not going to pretend to necessarily know the 100-year history of BYU, but like, you're talking about it as one of the biggest wins in the history of the program, dating back to 1984, right? Like that's how far back you have to go to get anything that would be comparable, I think, to beating Notre Dame at home. It would be a reintroduction to them to the national stage. I think that it would cement them as one of the powers in college football. It would make them, I think, a default team to make the college football playoff. So again, it is going to be a huge game. I'm really excited to see how they come out and play.
USA, Belgium, right? The script. What are we going to see today?
We're gonna see more. I thought that I was done with all the legal maneuvering all the rescinding, and I thought that I wouldn't have to deal with that for at least a couple more months.
File an injunction.
I know it. Which again, like, I think the red card was a bad call, so it's fine. But like, it never feels good to be back in this situation again.
Oh yeah.
I think that the U.S. manages to get through. I think that, I don't expect Balogun to have a great game. Like, I think that there's going to be a lot weighing on him in this. But you look at the team and the way that they're playing right now. I mean, it is just unbelievably good. I think that, Weston McKennie has been as good as anybody in this tournament to this point. I think that Tillman as well, you you saw that free kick that he took for a goal. I do think that the U.S. is able to get it through. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. Give me like 2-1 or 1-0 or something like that. But the U.S. moves on. Look,
I think it's cool that we're playing these games in, Seattle, stuff like that. Look, if you really want the sporting United States experience, this thing needs to be in like College Station. It needs to be in LSU and Death Valley. These are the venues these games really need to be played in.
You think that we can get them to Lavelle Edwards before?
Yeah, absolutely.
Before the end of the day? No, I think it's going to be really interesting. I will say for all that, like you said, the college atmospheres and all that are big. Seattle's
going to get crazy.
Yeah. Husky Stadium, they do a really good job. Obviously, they're playing at Lumen, but also the 12th man at Lumen, they do a really good job. And Seattle loves their soccer. So I think that we're going to see a good crowd. I think it's going to be very hostile. I really hope that they can take care of business and potentially have a chance to keep moving on.
Hey, Sheyhan, Ty Detmer texted in. He'd like a word on that 90 win against Miami.
Fair enough. No, that is 100%.
No,
like I said, I'm not gonna sit here and be a historian of BYU football, but we're talking again back to some of the glory days.
Absolutely. I will say I was at the last Notre Dame game in '92, and there was a guy by the name of Jerome Bettis that had himself a ball game. And
yeah, he was a problem in that one. I remember that.
I think I remember that one.
The final rushing tally was Notre Dame 291, BYU 13.
Oh,
that's how the game went.
That's not good.
So 42 to 16.
I think the bus might be parked on the BYU sideline this year with LJ Martin. So, if he can keep it much closer in the rushing department, I think that would make a huge difference.
You're coming to that game, right? You got to be at that one.
Listen, we have a baby due at the beginning of August. I've not set my sights on anything further than that at this point.
Rightfully so, Dad. Rightfully so.
No, you're making the right call on that one. You play that one by ear for sure. Hey, Sheyhan, looking forward to catching up with you in person tomorrow. Have a good trip, and I mean, you have a good drive to Big 12 Media Day, and we'll see you down there.
Looking forward to it. See you guys tomorrow.
There he is, Sheyhan Jeyarajah, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Gerard alongside the coach, Tim Lacombe. Good, the bad, the ugly, coming up next right here on the Zone.
Overwhelmed? That was me with diabetes. Hey, I'm Jabron. Between teaching and coaching, managing diabetes felt like an extra job. With the Freestyle Libre 3 CGM, I get real-time glucose readings and have the insights to make informed decisions. My life feels lighter now. Learn more at freestylelibre.us.
The views expressed should not be used for medical diagnosis or treatment as a substitute for professional medical advice. Individual circumstances may vary. For prescription only. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.
Winners and the losers. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, here's the good.
.97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Jeyarajah alongside the coach, Tim LaCombe. It is your good, it is your bad, it is your ugly. And, well, let's start with the good. Team USA in action today. Let's get it, Coach. It's time for a little World Cup action, taking on those pesky Belgian waffles.
I feel guilty talking about this without Alex and a clock running.
I know. Alex.
He's going to join us, by the way. He'll join us on the air link at 12:50.
Perfect.
Oh, okay, good.
So we will get our World Cup Minute of Soccer. I took away 30 seconds, by the way, on Thursday.
Can I get a little shout out on my Cape Verde pick?
Shout out, holler.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Like, best they've ever done.
I can't believe you did it.
Hello?
I
when
think,
will people, quote unquote, take note that there's magic going on over here?
I think that it's like you need to be riding this pony as long as you can in terms of listening to Coach and banking it, because Coach is on a heater right now.
We'd like to call it a heater. Now I could go cool. So
Should they put the mortgage on it?
No,
never.
Oh,
no,
okay,
I wouldn't even. Hey, look, man, the world I live in, money's hard to come by. I don't just go willy-nilly and handing it to Guido Sarducci.
No. Yeah, be
that's
careful.
where it ends up, right in his hand.
Yeah, and they don't give it back usually.
No, they make sure you give. If you don't, they take something else, like a bone or a knuckle. Kneecap.
So apparently Mr. Red Card's back in the game.
The president made a phone call to FIFA.
Whatever it takes.
He should have never been red carded anyways.
Yeah,
By the
exactly.
way, I don't know if you – so I took away – so Hatch and Alex co-hosted on Thursday. I took 30 seconds away from Alex Napolis because of the red card. I'm like, I cannot respect a sport that's going to do that.
I love that so much.
So you only gave him 30 seconds?
I gave him 30 seconds. I'm like, that's all you're getting.
Oh.
I'm like, this is such trash that this guy got a red card. And I know you've seen all the pictures of Messi and all these other players that had the exact same type of stepping on the calf of another player or whatever, and they didn't get anything. Not even a yellow card. And you're really you're gonna throw this guy out?
Look,
that's trash.
I want this guy to score like 2 goals tonight.
They ought to check that official's fan duel.
And just rub their nose in it.
Absolutely.
Because all of Belgium, look, and the fact is that somebody tweeted out that Belgium was going to lawyer up. Okay, you're in our world now. Like, yeah, you want to go billable hours? Team USA, the United States, we're undefeated when it comes to billable hours. We will take you behind the woodshed. And sure enough, yeah, FIFA's like, yeah, okay, we made our ruling.
We sue first and we ask questions later.
Yeah. Like somewhere, all these lawyers are like, that's cute, Belgium. That's cute, but no, you're not getting anywhere with us, because if there's one sport that we are without a doubt the world champion in, it is the sport of the legal finagling and the billable hours. We will kick your butt in anything when it comes to that. It's not even close.
Brought to you by Do We Cheat 'Em and How?
Yes. So, hey, Sheyhan broke it down. He thinks Team USA wins this sucker. I guess I'll take that. I do not know the ins and outs of Belgium soccer, so I'm just going to go the role of ugly American and say on to the round of, what would it be, that 8?
8?
The Elite 8?
Is that what they call? They probably call
round
it something
of 16
else.
Is probably something fancy.
Exhilarating 8.
Actually, I don't know. They went round of 16. That's how boring is that?
If soccer is anything, it's exhilarating.
The Salvation 8? Is that what they were fighting for, their salvation? Is that
yes,
the term?
I love that. We survived.
I like. Okay, so the knockout round is surviving or trying to achieve your salvation. Like that's a pretty big term. And then we get into the knockout round, and it's like round of 32, round of 16. Like, come on, let's sexy this thing up a little bit. If we're fighting for salvation, and now it's like, oh, the round of 16.
They could put, like, for each round, they could put one of the boxers from Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, and it gets progressively harder. Bazooka Joe or whatever his name. Piston Honda. Good luck.
Yeah.
Unless you know the secret code, which is left, down, down. Oh, no, I don't remember.
And then
you're not far off.
The guy that goes in the circle where you got to have you got to time out your blocks when he goes in the circle.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
You got to be able to put him up when he does the onslaught.
Yeah.
That was a very, very – that game was before its time.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Loved it.
Absolutely fantastic. All right, there's your good. Let's get to the bad.
Now the bad.
I'm a little nervous. Are these from Thursdays? Good, bad, ugly? Oh, okay. All right. Well, then I will pass on that bad because I don't want to go into Jake Hatch and Alex Napolis. But, here's the thing. When you look at the fact that this soccer thing has gotten everybody upset, I actually like that Team USA's got a little role of the villain going on right now. Got a little political, sideways on this thing. There's an element it's about time that for so many years, it was like Team USA in the World Cup was like BYU, and they got into the Big 12. We're just happy to be here. We want to be your friend. We want to be a nice partner. We're just glad that you decided to invite us. And then over the last couple of years, BYU's turned into a bit of a villain. I mean, like, no, we're going to kick your butt now. Yeah, sure, we'll give you your cougar tails. We'll give you some ice cream. We'll be gracious hosts, but when it's time to play the game, we're going to kick your butt. And BYU's done that nicely over the last couple of years. And now it's time for Team USA to kind of flex a little bit and say, you know what? Our president pulled some strings. We got our guy back on the pitch, and now there's nothing you can do. We're going to beat your butt. I kind of like that role.
I do too. I actually took solace, as we were talking to Sheyhan, the Big 12 standings or, the predictions. I love seeing, after only a couple of years, our boys who are from the state of Utah right there at the top.
Yes.
And a bunch of storied teams, down. So credit to both BYU and Utah for getting into the league, acclimating, being their friends in the beginning. Yeah, but it's always good to turn villain and get what you want. And that's what USA's trying to do. And this will be something that's talked about forever, the red card thing. But,
oh, yeah.
But he shouldn't have got it. So it fixes itself. It's not like he bet on a sport. Right?
No.
Like this is a completely different thing.
Now, the only thing that Belgium really has a chance is to find the Texas Tech judge and see if he can pull some weight on this one. Because that's about the only chance you'd have to swing this reversal.
Okay, what I did is I got me $2 million from the Sorsby camp. If you guys come in strong with $3 million, I'll be happy to give you an injunction.
Yeah, you want him out of that pitch? I'm your guy, but it's going to cost you.
That's the judge, in case you were wondering.
I love your time down in Texas, man. You got to figure it out. Also on the bad, LeBron James has narrowed his list of teams that he's willing to play for next year down to 10.
Please go. Is there a way you could play in the Chinese league this year and just report back how it's going?
If there's enough money, I'm sure there is.
Hey, it's not about money this year, Lloyd. That's what he said.
Rich Paul telling ESPN, this is the first time LeBron James is making a decision pressure-free. He's won already. He's made good on his promises. He won in L.A. This now is strictly for his happiness. What does happiness entail? It's a number of things. It's a bucket of happiness. It's basketball. It's living. It's camaraderie. It's competition. It's everything. And here is your top 10 for LeBron James. Philadelphia, Cleveland, Denver, Minnesota, Miami, the Knicks, Golden State, Dallas, Boston, and San Antonio.
Oh, it's big. Big of them.
Yeah. Look.
He's going to go to San Antonio.
That's what I would guess. But honestly, look, if you're Philly and you've got Maxey, you got Edgecombe, you got Brown. You're like, we're good.
Dude, I think they're like Boston. You could have traded him a little further away.
Yeah.
I mean, they made that team really good. Those two guards and him. And if Embiid could just stay healthy.
Yes.
Just play 70 games, which will probably never happen. But if he could, man, that's a scary thought. It's a way more teeth than Paul George.
Philly does seem like it's a bit of a it's getting talked about a lot. In fact, Rich Paul said LeBron enhances everything there in Philly. He unlocks everything there. Now Tyrone Maxey is also a Clutch client, so, there you go.
That is true.
I hate that we have to constantly say that.
I know,
By
right?
the way, he's a client.
Clutch client. It's rumored to be that if he does, in fact, go to Philly, the Liberty Bell will heal.
Oh, really?
It will
Yeah,
actually
he unlocks
grow.
that too.
Yeah, everything. He will unlock it all.
All of a sudden, that crack just starts to
and over
come
time,
together.
they're going to, over time, they'll be very competitive during the regular season, fall short in the playoffs, time after time. But then that bell will heal. And LeBron will have been the reason.
But it's just for his happiness. You know what? And it even said, look, he'd be very good for VJ Edgecombe. He can come in and teach him how to really play the game. VJ's going to be just fine. Like, if I'm VJ out there, I'm like, look, I appreciate that. But you know what? I think I like the trajectory I'm on right now. Also, I think there's a lot of people out there that that this is an opportunity for Rich Paul to send LeBron somewhere where there's some stars that may not be under that Clutch umbrella, and then get them to ditch their agency and come over to Clutch.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's all about Clutch. His name's not Poor Paul.
No.
It's Rich Paul.
He's doing just fine.
Doing just fine, Adele.
Oh, man. All right, there's your bad. Let's get to the ugly.
The ugly.
Good, the bad, the ugly, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. UFC star Dustin Poirier says that his personal struggles with his father issues, with alcoholism, with his ongoing struggles with a retired life contributed to his arrest for public drunkenness last month in Atlanta. Was arrested at the airport, charged with public drunkenness after he aggressively confronted multiple employees. The arrest happened on Father's Day, which he said was not a coincidence. Said, my father has been in jail plenty of times for alcohol-related stuff. He's actually homeless right now. Part of that, me being drunk at the airport. And it's not my weight to carry, but I tried to help him, and he's back on the street. On Father's Day, I was traveling to work, and I just couldn't stop thinking about my father. I started drinking at the airport, and that's what led to the incident. He's also said that he struggled with retirement after he ended a 16-year professional career. I was just a kid chasing a dream. It flew by so quickly. I was scarred for the future. 20 years. I was dreaming about being the best. Now I don't know what to do with my life. Okay. How about this? Just don't drink and fight with employees.
He did this all wrong because, Dustin, you're supposed to fight during those years in the ring. And you're supposed to take all that money, and then you're supposed to just go off and do your thing. But you're still fighting. You need to stop fighting because you're not a fighter anymore.
You're not a fighter anymore.
You were a fighter. No mas.
Like when you hung up.
To borrow a Roberto Duran phrase.
When you hung up the clipboard, you're like, I'm not a coach anymore.
And they never wanted to go back.
And you're like, okay, I'm calm. I'm perfectly fine with that.
I definitely had made the decision, getting used to it and all that. There were days I probably could have ended up like Dusty at the airport. But, hey, man, you hold it together.
Said, it's hurting me financially. One big sponsor is not a sponsor anymore. I'm sure I've lost a few. I'm waiting to see when the smoke clears who's still with me or not. That day cost me not only embarrassment and embarrassment to my family, it cost me a lot of money, too. I'm losing sponsors. I'm losing gigs. I'm losing things that I had set up. Boo freaking who. Like, I understand. Like, it's tough for guys to turn off.
People get tough life, man. But, yeah. It's a hard one. It's hard. He needs to seek help.
Yes. I look, take personal responsibility. I don't like you playing the dad card. Just take personal responsibility. Say, I screwed up. I drank too much. I have demons, but I'm facing them. You don't need to go into details. Say, I'm working through some demons. But I take full responsibility for my actions. It was my fault, nobody else's. And it's cost me. It'll continue to cost me, and I'm going to do everything I can to repair relationships to get back to where I need to be. That's all I got to say.
And somehow work in a line about charismatic brilliance.
But my charismatic brilliance will always come to the forefront.
Will see me through. Dustin, we're praying for you, dude.
Yes, absolutely. All right, 11:46, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
You covered. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LeCaux, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Jeyarajah alongside the coach, Tim LeCaux. Kurt Helin's going to join us coming up here in studio, hopefully in a bit. But tomorrow we will be down in Frisco, Texas. Big 12 Media Day. Your first, coach, this is always, these are fun. You never know what's going to happen on these media days. You could be on the air for 4 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours. You never know.
I've been on so many road trips that have been just work that that's really all I know. So, from recruiting to trade shows to all the different things we do. So I'm looking forward to it. And mainly as you look at the list of names, just to be able to, start a relationship with guys, kind of, get to know them, start to watch their career very closely, because that's what we do in this seat. But it's the personalities that I definitely am most excited about.
Yeah, and that's what's fun, because everybody is somewhat in a good mood for the most part, because everybody's undefeated.
And nobody's lost a game yet.
Nobody's lost a game. Everybody has high expectations. They feel like their team's in a good place. And so outside of maybe some people in Lubbock, people are probably going to be in a pretty good mood.
Yeah, and everybody's got hope, because they got new guys. And the one thing we all do is think that all you got to do is tweak it a little bit, and maybe we get what we want. There will be an outlier that nobody's talking about. And like Sheyhan said, I think it may be TCU. They've just recruited so well, and they have that metroplex to recruit from, the state of Texas to recruit from. It's a gold mine for football, man. It really is. And so one of the things I want to do while we're there, if we have time, I want to take you past my old stomping grounds.
Let's go.
It's about 20 minutes probably, but show you just the high school I went to and our football field that the Party Hounds played in, by the way.
Probably not the knowing how football stadiums there, high school stadiums are there in Texas. Probably not a small field.
No, I mean, it was really big at the time for us. It was 23,000, 25,000.
What?
I mean, they're bigger down there now.
That's pretty big.
It was big. And we had, the coolest part, it was a high school team that had AstroTurf, just like the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And
torn ACLs to come with them.
I mean, just write them up, left, right, and center. We weren't thinking about that.
No, nobody cared about that.
We're thinking about practicality, man. Think about the man hours you save, not having to water, fertilize. Oh
yeah. So when I was in high school, we, obviously we're playing in essentially glorified cow pastures. But then when you made it to state, you got to play in the old mini dome.
Oh yeah, that was
Pocatello.
Quite a sight.
And so you were all excited because you're like, oh, this is real school AstroTurf. And then you played on it, and you're like,
they forgot the
padding.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're essentially playing on concrete, and you're leaving pieces of your skin everywhere over that field. You're like
the old Astros stadium.
Yeah, I don't like this at all.
The original version, the rice cycles that I remember back in the day, that turf was like that. I mean, I remember because they play all the high school games, and everybody talk about how hard it was. And man, turf's come a long way. Now we've got the stuff that just
little pellets
that just stinks the whole neighborhood up. But nonetheless, it's pretty maintenance free.
Hey, by the way, have you seen this story on Kerr Kriisa, the Kentucky basketball player?
I have not.
Kerr Kriisa?
I've not heard.
You know the player though, right?
I do know him. Yeah, he's yes, I do.
Played at Kentucky, Arizona, West Virginia, Cincinnati over 6 seasons. He has been arrested and indicted on a $2.2 million fraud scheme allegedly carried out a scheme to obtain nearly over $2 million from multiple victims using false representation, fabricated identities, and deceptive communications. Apparently, he would go and tell people that his mom had cancer and needed treatment and send him money. And then he would be, by posing as his mother in another scheme, he allegedly told one victim he needed money to save the family's farm. He also allegedly acted as a woman named Irene. Come on, Irene. To sign a fraudulent promise to repay one of the victims $100,000 by a February deadline. I just kept doing this over and over and over, just catfishing everybody, and to the tune of $2.2 million.
It's no wonder he could never make a jump shot.
Yeah.
He had a lot of other things going on.
So, yeah, I mean, we thought maybe, he decided, look, gambling, that's for losers. I'm going to go complete identity fraud.
It's so funny because I remember this kid well, and I remember even at BYU, Cody Feger was recruiting him, and darn near got him.
Oh, okay.
But he ended up going to Arizona. I always, just watching him from a distance and how he carried himself, thought he was a little fast, honestly. That, I wouldn't know I'd go to $2.2 million in fraud schemes, but he seemed a little quick. And, the gut's usually right if you trust it.
There's some times where, they don't give you a reason at the time, but you're like, something just doesn't seem right here.
Yeah. And, especially when mom chimes in about the family farm.
Yeah.
Again, there's a reason the dude who came over to play basketball and could have had a really great future. There's a reason he didn't do very well in basketball because his attention was very divided.
Well, yeah, like he had a lot of irons in the fire here.
And if you're going to choose one or the other, the way you're going to make out on the other deal, I think that might take most of your time.
Cincinnati last year, he averaged 5.8 points per game, 3 assists before at a separated shoulder in February, missed the rest of the season. So, yeah, interesting.
I mean, I think he had a pretty decent first year.
Yeah.
And I think everything went downhill from there. Yes.
But, yeah, he made the rounds. He was all over the country, Kentucky, Arizona, West Virginia, Cincinnati, over 6 seasons. 4 schools in 6 seasons. And milked about everything he could, not only out of his playing career, but also of a lot of victims as well.
And should maybe be the poster child NIL of this era of it anyway. This cash grab where, hey, every single year I'm going to go see if I can get more. That's kind of what he did. The most he ever averaged, in fact, was he averaged 11 points in 2023 in 23 games. So all that from less than 11 points, most of it. I mean, he was a little fast, man. A little fast. And couldn't shoot. I mean, that's a problem there. Couldn't shoot consistently. So, yeah, that is that's a saga, what we call a saga.
Yeah.
Of Kerr Kriisa.
Kerr Kriisa is now in himself let's just say he's in a world of hurt. A lot of pain there. All right, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, high noon. You and I, hopefully, by the way, we've already got one notice from Delta that our flight has been delayed a half hour.
You know what that means, everybody that travels?
Yeah, when you get it that early in the day.
There's a plan.
Yeah. Let's see. I got our flight was supposed to leave about 5:40. I got the text from Delta at 9:54 a.m. We're sorry. Your flight has been delayed by 37 minutes. It is now departing at 6:17 p.m. Yeah, usually when you get those dominoes start falling, that could be a problem.
The nice thing is they haven't done it again.
No, yeah.
Because they typically follow that about an hour later with another one. So we'll stay tuned. But we plan to go tonight to Dallas.
We might be needing to reach out to any listeners that are, working for Delta. Like, hey, if you could find a way to get that plane off the ground, we would certainly appreciate it.
That would be cool. That would be very cool.
All right. Hey, look who's going to be hanging out with us in studio. The great Kurt Helin joining us next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Accessing.
The best radio in Utah is right here. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You'd be surprised to know this is actually a radio station. Kurt Helin joining us and getting barked at by Lloyd about, like, move that chair up, move it to the left.
Yes.
Yeah, we're all on the video stream. Go to youtube.com, search KSL Sports, and you can see us all in our handsome glory.
I was about to ask where the hidden cameras were, but now I see.
Love the T-shirt, dog.
Oh, the Vancouver Grizzlies
Yeah,
T-shirt.
that's a good mark.
It's a good. I actually got this in Vancouver, and I got suckered in by we're walking past one of those painfully horrid tourist shops that are in every city, and I'm like, ooh, but a Vancouver Grizzlies shirt in Vancouver, I kind of have to.
Big country approves, man.
Yeah, exactly.
That is the name that comes to mind for me too.
Exactly.
When I see that.
Oh yeah, you see that? That's the one guy.
Or Abdul Rahim.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they had him too. They weren't a bad team for a while there.
I wonder where. Have we even heard of where he's at these days? Big country.
Ooh, I don't know.
I would say north of 350.
Well, yeah. I bet he's closer to 4 than 3. Yeah.
Comfortably living on his ranch somewhere.
You know, we had Greg Ostertag on the other day, and he was on the old video stream. He's got he's the mayor of a city down in Texas.
Really?
Yes, and he's got a restaurant down there. And I would if somebody would have said Greg Ostertag is 4 bills, I would have been like, I totally believe it. Dude is svelte and happy, and he's got what kind of was it? Alpacas? What has he got on his farm?
Emus.
Emus. Interesting.
And he's just living the good life.
Guys tend to go one of two ways when they retire, right? Like they either like the activity stops and they don't stop eating, or that taking care of their body thing wasn't just a basketball thing.
So we had him, and then Brian Russell.
Oh yeah.
And B. Russ is about 4 bills.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Long Beach State's own, I believe.
Yes.
Right?
Good pull. Nice.
Well, I think I've told you guys a million times. You could hit a golf shot from my place to the Pyramid where Long Beach State plays. Well, I couldn't. It would slice off into the parking lot and like shatter our window, but of somebody's windshield. But like, you could get there. Like I go to games there just to like. It's the one place I can go and have a beer and watch a game and not have to be writing about it. Not be a fan. Just be a fan again.
Did you ever get to talk to Coach Monson?
Oh yeah, he and I texted. Yeah,
that's one of the good dudes now.
He's a great dude. He endeared himself. I can't tell that story on air. He endeared himself to me the first time we met.
Hey, same here, man. I'll never forget him. I'll
never
forget him. He's the best. I love that guy. Obviously, if you don't know, started the whole upswell at Gonzaga.
Yeah, and then went to Minnesota at a poorly timed move for him. Like, it wasn't that he couldn't handle the job. It's right when they went on sanctions, and so nobody was going to win there. And
I don't feel bad. He got a bag. He got a bag.
He got a bag, and then he stayed in Long Beach longer. He had other offers, but his kids were of an age where he was like, man, I like the neighborhood. I like it here. I like, if I move now, I'm moving that whole family and my kids at an age I'd rather not do that to them too. And so he stayed there probably longer than he otherwise would have, just for family.
And it's Long Beach State. I mean, you can.
There are worse places to be.
Yeah, not a lot of crazy expectations. Just don't be horrible and win a few games and you'll be just fine.
Hey, Bryant Reeves is he's a rancher. And
Shocker.
He looks great. He's actually not. He's more Ostertag than.
Oh, good.
He's more
good for him.
So he's looks like he's kicking tail.
That's good. Good to hear. All right, so I was telling Coach this earlier. I've got a strict summer league, especially a rookie in a summer league policy where I don't get too high, don't get too low. Like I saw, speaking of Greg Ostertag, I saw him just completely dominate Tim Duncan in an old Jazz summer league game. I saw Darren Williams look pedestrian. We've seen guys really struggle, especially as a rookie in summer league. That being said, I'm having a hard time sticking to my guns on that with Darryn Peterson because he looked phenomenal.
He showed that athleticism. I didn't get to watch the whole game, but parts I saw, it was a little bit of rookie. Like there were a few turnovers. The game moves faster, and it's also it's not structured.
Yes,
it's a glorified.
They don't know
game.
Each other, man.
They don't know each other. It's funny, Jazz fans. If like. You're going to get to Vegas, and that first game is going to be on national TV against Dybansta not Memphis, Washington. You should smoke them because like you've played 3 games, and like that's those 3 games are such a learning curve for a young team that it's going to be interesting to see how that one plays out. But I thought he looked good. I thought he looked aggressive. I thought he showed like what we'd expect from him. He can get downhill, but he makes good decisions, and he knows kind of like he can score from any level. So,
to me, it was kind of just like the very first play of the game. You saw the highlight of that, I'm sure. Just kind of the way that he approached that whole possession. Ace Bailey's coming to set him. He kind of waves him through, calls the big up, has him set it right at that perfect angle, knows if that guy doesn't step out, he's got the rim. Just so it's not necessarily just that he did it, because a lot of guys can go score. It's how he did it, and did a lot of those things throughout the game.
Recognizing the mismatch,
right? Big time.
Immediately. Oh, I can get by this guy.
Correct.
Which even at the NBA level, he's going to be able to get by a lot of guys. But recognizing that, like you said, and calling it up and saying that's the play I want is a really mature play, and that's a really good sign. Like you said, there was really a lot of positives when he came out of that. Just his mentality of it.
So, what are the other element to this as well is when it comes to second-year players playing, I expect a very high level. And Ace Bailey, I thought had some really good moments.
Look, I have few rules about Summer League. A few of them off the court in Vegas, and a few of them on. But one of the on-court ones is if you got regular run, if you got steady run as a rookie, and you don't come out and look much better than everybody you're playing, I am now concerned, because you should be a notch above this. You should be the guy who plays 3 games and is done, kind of thing.
Go home. We don't need you anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Play 1 game in Vegas. And Ace looked like that. He looked like a guy he looked comfortable, and he'd been there before, and obviously was trying to, like Coach said, there's a lot of feeling out going on, but I thought he looked good, and I'll be there tonight. And I think they'll look smoother tonight. What's your take on just generally on where Cody Williams is? And obviously his first couple of years struggled, was rated, I think in year 1, was rated the lowest, had the lowest ranking of any player in the league. And, I have the opportunity to watch these dudes play 82 games a year, whether I want to or not. I sit and watch them. And, I've just steadily watched this kid get better. But my take on him was as soon as his body gets to a grown-up size and he can actually start dishing out some blows himself, it's not until then we can really judge this kid. And the other night, he was, as you say, he was a polished kid compared to the rest of the guys out there by virtue of his experiment in the last couple of years. What's your take on him? I think he's coming into a critical year where you need to see a step forward from him. And I think you're right about needing to grow into his body. And I know about the analytics the first year. Jaylen Brown would like to have a word with you about the analytics.
Yeah, exactly.
But
7th best player.
Philly just all of a sudden becomes.
Oh, Philly's going to be
like good,
really good.
Yeah.
And it's funny. Like, I don't know that they're going to get LeBron. I still think it's looking like Cleveland, but
they'll be less good if they get him.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he just. Yeah, it's a whole nother. That's a segment. The challenge with LeBron, and Cleveland can handle it, and frankly may need it because we kind of seen what their ceiling is. LeBron comes with a lot, like in terms of the personality, but also in terms of it's going to be a documentary, and he's going to have a crew following him around, and there's certain accommodations you need to make for him and his workout schedule and all. Like, there's a lot that comes with LeBron, and you've got to be ready to handle it. And I'm not sure Philly needs that. I'm not sure Philly needs all that. Not that Embiid's not getting a few accommodations, but like you do. It's really serving him well.
Yeah, exactly. That's the other part of the risk with them. Ultimately, is like second round. Can Embiid's knees hold up when it becomes an every other day? You've got to play. We'll see. I like them on paper, but their ceiling, they have to have him.
But you're thinking ultimately Cleveland, not the Golden State reunion geriatric space cowboy tour?
No. As much as I would find that entertaining and it checks the close to home box, and frankly, they might be able to offer him a little bit more. You're always reading the tea leaves with LeBron, but the tea leaves lately, including some of his social media stuff, suggests that Cleveland seems to be where things are headed. We'll see. I expect that he will wait until the Las Vegas Summer League and all the media are combined somewhere and then drop this, because that sounds like what LeBron does. But I think it's going to be Cleveland. If I had to bet today, it would be Cleveland. But Golden State's in the mix. I still think Denver is a sleepy candidate, but they can't do anything until they get Peyton Watson figured out. financially.
I think it's going to be Cleveland too because he can go be the guy
Yeah.
in all the ways.
And they kind of need that. Like you
Right,
saw
they
where
do.
they got to.
Right. I mean, Donovan's great, and he's great in the regular season, but in the playoffs, he needs to. He got through a demon this year. You know, he's able to win, but they just need a little extra help, and I think LeBron could actually help that team.
Yeah, and you have to have somebody there because every playoff series you're going to get one or two really great James Harden games, and you're going to get one or two real stinker James Harden games, and you, especially when you get to 6 and 7. LeBron, I'm not worried about stepping up in the moment. Like that is of my concerns about LeBron at this point in his career. It's not can he step up in a big moment. He will play his best basketball then.
I just our guy Sammy might lose a few shots there.
Oh man, yeah.
Yes, yeah. Although they're still going to need that floor spacing. He should still get some looks.
And he's tough.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of former Aggies, Neemiah Queta getting a bit of a bag. Were you surprised by that contract?
I thought he earned it. I thought he proved last year to be a solid NBA center. Like he started for them. You could say starter or sixth man, but he is at a position of need around the league. He is rock solid. He was good for them last year, and people who didn't see him until the playoffs and around the nation, well, what? No, he was good. And then you get to the second round of the playoffs, and levels come up. Things get different. Matchups are different. He's a perfect fit for them too because now they've got Mitchell Robinson at center. Mitchell's great for the 20 minutes a game in the 60 games he can give you. He's fantastic in that role, and he'll be great in the playoffs. But you got to have somebody else who can eat up the minutes, and Neemiah can do that.
So is the shine off of Brad Stevens a little bit? He's taking a beating.
I'm curious. It's funny. We talked about NBC. We were talking before I came here. We were in a meeting about things we would like to do at Summer League, interviews we'd like to get. And we're like, what if we could get Brad Stevens? I'm like, I would like to ask him if he thought he was microdosing, but accidentally took too many. Because
I don't know how you do it.
I don't know how you get there. As much as you might need to trade him, that deal at that time,
to that team,
but also to that team. But I know other people, and other people have reported this, but I talked to a couple people around the league. We're like, if there had been a bidding war, if this was what was going on, we could have jumped in. We didn't think they were really going to. Everybody was lowballing them at first because that's how every negotiation goes.
Yeah.
It was mind-boggling that they made that trade at that point, and I'm curious. Brad Stevens has a lot to answer for. They have made a lot of financial decisions since the ownership change.
Oh, okay.
And I think I'm just throwing that out there. A part of that was kind of logical last season with Tatum out for most of the season, but it's been interesting.
They're taking the Tom Dundon approach.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, Tom's willing to spend on players, just nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
Nothing else. Which, again, we've talked about this, all the three of us on here. It's if you're not a glamour market, if you're not Miami, you have to do a little extra sometimes to keep guys. You do, and I think Ryan Smith does that with Utah. Paul Allen did that in Portland, and if it's that's the shocking change of it. It was you get all the perks. Oh, you get none of the perks. Well, now if I'm choosing in a neutral world, if the money's the same or close, then why am I going?
Yeah. If I can't get a massage after 11 o'clock because they had to shut down the room.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if and when this comes back to bite him because I think that's an interesting team. By the way, I like the swing with Ja for them with Ja Morant. It might not work out. Coach. You might. What do you think? Everybody I talk to and just my impression of him is he's lost half a step. He's not quite as explosive.
I think so. I think, and honestly, I think confidence too.
Yeah.
I mean, everything that was a big part. If you think about Ja and how he made his way in, it was that high flying, always putting himself out there. What's he going to do next? And that's inhibited a little bit now.
Yeah.
So.
And there's an adjustment period. Derrick Rose went through this. A lot of guys. If athleticism is how you got there, how much craft do you have when some of that athleticism wanes? And how much craft do you have to work your game? And I think we're going to find out. But being next to Damian Lillard and at least for now Drew Holiday, those are good veterans to have guide you through this, and hopefully, I would like to see Ja do well. I would like to see him kind of find his footing again because, I mean, for a couple of years, guys, you had to stop on League Pass.
No, he was
You
great.
had to,
Oh,
you
yeah,
had to,
yeah.
you had to stop.
Yeah.
and
Well,
watch.
he had his coming out in that playoff series against the Jazz.
Yeah,
I mean that's
that's
where
right,
it really all kind of, and we're all saying, man, the star is born.
Yeah,
And unfortunately, there's life too.
yeah.
Yeah. So the Walker Kessler thing, I think, caught a lot of us by surprise. We didn't see that, especially to the Lakers. I mean, we knew that there was some ties to the Lakers, and the Lakers might come in restricted free agency and make the Jazz life a little miserable. But the Jazz just saying, you know what, fine, you want to go there? Let's just make it happen. The Jazz got some good assets back, but now they're without a center. And I think that a lot of people are like, okay, it's not necessarily that you lost Walker Kessler, but you lost a piece of bringing this team together that everybody's fired up about here in Salt Lake City. How do the Jazz navigate that? They do have some assets to play with. There's nothing really left in free agency.
Yeah.
How do they improve that position?
Yeah, it's probably going to have to be by trade in the short term, if anything, and we have to see who's available out there. But it's become, especially in the West, but frankly, remember a couple of years ago when everybody was going small and everybody wanted to be the Warriors, which works great when you have Draymond.
Yeah.
But frankly, at his peak, but for the rest of us, that's not how life works. But now that you've got real size coming into the league look, if you're in the West, and this is something that Utah's ultimately going to have to deal with, you're going to have to deal with Jokic, you're going to have to deal with Wembanyama, you're going to have to deal with Chet Holmgren. Now, unfortunately, you've got to deal with Walker Kessler on another team and a guy who's made lesser centers look really good. You're going to have to find somebody big-bodied out there. And that's like, you see Mara getting drafted, like, do they need another center? Yes, they can use another center. Like they can use all the bodies they can get because they know what the target is in Oklahoma City.
Do you feel like? My feeling is you don't have to be in a hurry either. I mean,
No.
The stopgap is obviously between Nurkic and Hayes at this point.
Yeah.
But also you have the luxury. You don't really want to do it because Jaren Jackson isn't a center. But you those guys are big enough that you could, with Lowry and you could move, play some other ways. But over time, you kind of just need to wait for another Jaren Jackson situation to evolve where a team's got to move a guy, right? And then you sweep in with your bag of picks and everything else.
Exactly. You've got so much. I believe the trendy word is optionality. You've got all these. You've got the ability to go get that guy when that guy you like pops up, and it's maybe it's a not Keita, but a Keita kind of guy where you can like, hey, that's the kind of rock solid big guy we need to go get. And there are teams that are not, in 2 years, Oklahoma City's not going to be able to keep Hartenstein. Like they're coming up, the apron's coming hard for them, and that's a guy who's there's other guys like that, but like that's a guy who's going to be out there if you want to be patient. In a year or two, that's why they drafted Mara. They know what's ahead, and they're going for it in the short term, but like long term, they know they're going to have to move on.
The other element too, I mean, I'm still not quite sure that Walker's worth that.
He's got to stay healthy.
Yeah,
it was 57 games the year before, something like that. And obviously, last year was hopefully a one-off year for him with the shoulder. But he's going to have to prove that he can, because when he's played, even in the 5 games last year, you're like, wow, he looks really good.
Yeah.
He looks really good. I like this. And then, if he can get back to that level and stay there and stay healthy, I hope for his sake you can, but it's a risk. And there's always a school of thought around the league when these kind of trades happen where you're like, yeah, why are they selling low? Why or not even selling low in this case, but why? Because I don't think they sold low, but like, why are you getting out of the business? Is it the price was just too high, or do you have a legitimate concern?
Well, and I think that Wemby's left a lot of shocks around the NBA. Like, how do we deal with this? And one is, okay, you get a guy like Kessler, but then I think maybe the Jazz are looking at it like, going Moneyball, we go after him in the aggregate and just get a collection of bodies that we throw at him, not necessarily one major.
That's an option. You trying to find an Isaiah Stewart type of. He's a little smaller, but really tough physical guy who can. Okay, he's only 6'9". I love it when I get to say that. He's only 6'9", but like can body up somebody like that and at least annoy him. Because right now, that's still kind of like young Rudy Gobert when he was in Utah those first couple of years. You can still get him down low. You can still push him because his center of gravity is naturally a little higher. That may not be the case in a couple of years, but right now you can kind of still get him that way.
Spend enough time eating those churros in San Antonio, and then watch out. It's going to be a problem.
Yeah, well, that's why we spend the summer with the Shaolin monks.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, during the break, I'm going to work on some of the Wemby drills to knock you off balance. Is that okay?
Go for it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Nice.
I'll show you how it's done.
That's Kurt Helin.
Probably better than I. Yeah.
Kurt Helin joining us right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, NBC Sports, ProBasketballTalk.com, with us in studio right here on the Zone.
Now I know y'all are tripping. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Gerard, the coach, Tim Lacombe, Kurt Helin, NBC Sports, ProBasketballTalk.com, kind enough to hang out with us as well. All right, so you're going to be up at Huntsman Center, checking out, and then making your way down to Vegas, I'm assuming.
Yes, I will be in Vegas till the middle of next week, and then.
Oh, okay, not too bad then.
No, it's still about 9 days of summer league basketball, which is by the end of that,
That's too much.
Too much, and I mean, where I stay in Vegas, a little off the strip, usually is trying to avoid the Vegasness of it.
Yeah,
but it's still, I'm kind of done by the end of it. I'm ready to go
JW
home.
Marriott, you hanging out there?
No, actually a Hilton property.
Nice. Okay.
But it's without getting it. It's one of their resort timeshare things. So I've got a kitchen and
sweet. That's great.
So you don't have the you're not walking down to the old grandma's chain smoking in their
no
jazzy.
no casino in the lobby, which is like a key for me. So.
I loved Vegas back in the day. I loved everything about it. Loved walking through the casinos. Loved throwing down a few coins here and there. And now I can't get out of there fast enough. Like getting old.
It's called the wisdom.
Just rips you apart.
I think if I only went once every few years with friends or my wife or whatever, like it would feel different. But now I'm there. Well, it won't be twice a year anymore, at least, because they moved NBA Cup to Butler.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
This year.
Yeah.
But it's still at least once a year for a lot of days, and I'm just kind of it's the same thing. I'm like, been there, done that, seen that. If there's a show I really want to see at the Sphere, we'll come back. But
yeah.
Yeah,
Sphere's cool though.
I need to see it. I haven't seen the Sphere yet.
It's even from the outside, it's quite the experience. And I didn't see U2 when they were there, and I'm not a big enough Deadhead for those shows, but Dead and Company, I believe it was, but or Fish, but
oh boy, I bet the Contact High you would. You get it there at a Fish concert.
You don't, with all that going on, you should just not do the hallucinogenics.
No.
Stay away and just
Danger.
It's a
Will
little
Robinson.
It'll be a little overwhelming.
Yeah. I say hallucinogenics probably steer clear anyhow.
Yeah. Again, that's Brad Stevens' questions, but yes, in general, I think that's wise.
So I know there's going to be obviously the Jazz have one more game here in Salt Lake City, but there's going to be a lot of attention on that game against the Wizards, that first game in Vegas.
Oh yeah, no, there's going to be a lot of people there, and they put it on that Thursday night. It's got prime television. It's going to have a bunch of media there. Like I said, we had a whole meeting about doing videos off of that, and then the next night is Boozer and Caleb Wilson. Like, all right. We're breaking the top four down because they were kind of their own group, right? There was a real tier there, and Caleb's going to be interesting in Chicago. But there's a lot of attention on this first game, and there was so much debate about Dybansta or Peterson, kind of back and forth all year, and AJ secured that spot by being a combination of steady and just there every night, and also it's basketball and he's 5 inches taller. At the end of the day, that doesn't hurt.
Was, again, back to Summer League and one game not meaning anything. Yeah. I saw an article today because people just love to throw stuff out there. And it was like, talk to someone in the Wizards and they're doubting they're second guessing their pick after seeing Peterson play the other day. I'm like, AJ hasn't even been able to play yet. And we're having there's just too much stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. And some of that, there is stuff I see online from call them influencers. I don't know what the term would be. Occasionally where I'm like, I just know that's not true. Like I've been around long enough. I've talked to enough people. I know you're just making that whole cloth out of clicks, for clicks. And then you'll 2 days later go back and, I guess that wasn't true. Or that's not, you apologize later, but you got the bump from what you wanted.
Exactly.
So, there's a lot of that. Exactly that. There's nobody with inside Washington right now is like, oh, we screwed up. No. In fact, let's be honest. As we were discussing, you're not making that discussion after Summer League. Will you have that discussion at the end of the first year? Or kick yourself a little, potentially, depending on how things broke, maybe. But I think AJ is going to be great in Washington. He's going to be great no matter where he landed. I think they're two really elite, maybe three really elite guys at the top of this draft.
Boozer in Chicago, I think I've told Coach, and I think both of us, if I had to make as good as I think Darryn Peterson will be and AJ will be, if I had to submit a preseason Rookie of the Year, I think it might be Boozer, just because I think he's going to be able to produce the quickest there in Chicago.
With Memphis.
Or sorry, Memphis. That's what I meant. Yeah, my bad.
Chicago,
yeah. Caleb's in Chicago.
Caleb's in Chicago, and that's just interesting because he is so talented, but also
just raw.
There's a lot of know-how that needs to come about.
And it's only concerning because the list of long athletic wings who went to Chicago and failed in the last 15 years is a little too long for my taste, but hopefully they'll get this one right. But I think that's a good bet. Like, if you watch Boozer play, he's just so fundamentally sound. He is just going to be good from day one. Rebounding, he's going to be in the right position. He's going to score around the rim. He's going to be rock solid. Although my dark horse pick, Acuff.
I could see that
in Sacramento, because they are going to give him the rock and the keys. They just waived DeMar DeRozan since we've been sitting here. They are going to turn the house. They're going to give him the house, and he could put up the numbers that get him in the discussion.
He definitely have the opportunity. Now,
and he's entertaining, and he'll be fun. So
that's your dark horse.
That's my dark horse, and I the fans, the long-suffering fans in Sacramento, frankly, deserve a positive. That's a surprisingly good fan base for what they've had to put up with.
Yeah.
Watching Boozer the other day, I mean, just like you said, I think our assessment was right. I think this was a year where three guys in other years would be taken first.
Yeah.
And, Boozer just went out there and plug and play, did his thing, shot fake guys to death.
Yep.
Up and under, found guys underneath. I mean, he's going to be great. And I think that's what I take from it, as opposed to, man, who's better? I take it I think all three places got great players, and in time, because it's going to take time, even with Darryn Peterson, he could go have a game tonight where he doesn't play very well. It happens to young guys, it just does. I've been around it enough. So you can't get too high or too low, but you certainly see it with him. I see the same thing with Boozer.
Yeah, and I think the fit, putting him next to a real five in Zach Edey lets him play to his strengths more. He can shoot the three. He can step out. He can give you some of the floor spacing you need, and plus go in and get boards and do stuff. So and again, they got Isaiah Stewart off the bench. They've got that's a Coward now, the Cedric Coward at the three.
He's
a young
real.
guy who's
Coward's real.
He's really good. That's suddenly a nice young front line as they start to rebuild that thing.
So, Coach and I were talking to a NBA executive the other day, and they told us that the league has taken notice of the ownership change in L.A., and they're like, Lakers are going to be a problem now because the buses have been running it on duct tape and baling twine for a long time and just getting away with the Laker name. Now that they have real ownership in place, now that they actually have some money to play with, they're going to be back. And what you've seen with what they've been able to do here in just the last few weeks, it's a different era now in LA. And it seems like the years of kind of having some fun at their expense might be coming to an end here pretty soon.
Yeah, they were aggressive in a way they just hadn't, like all right, let's take these risks. Let's do this. Where LeBron, among his other skills, brings people to the building, brings television ratings, brings jersey sales, and all this stuff, that ancillary stuff that isn't really that ancillary if you're running a business, matters. And as excited as the Laker Nation is right now about what happened, like, you gave up a sure thing. And so I think you're right. I think that but I've heard that as well, that there's concern that more than just that, they had a bare bones scouting department.
Yes.
Compared to everybody else. Their analytics were not the most robust in the league, and it had gotten better over the last couple of years, but it was not where it needed to be. That kind of stuff has already started to change, and they've cleaned house within the organization. Not just the basketball side, the business side. They're bringing in their people who have had. Look, they've got a model. Like the Dodger thing has worked out pretty well, and it's a different sport with different, minor leagues and all that stuff. But like, there's a model now. They know what they want to do.
If LeBron really wanted to be back in LA, would he be back?
Yes.
Okay.
So that was a mutual parting of the ways,
Okay.
and an amicable one. But they left before it got ugly. But they, to my knowledge, talking to people around them, I don't think there was ever a serious discussion of what you're going to pay. Like, here's what we would offer you. Here's what we got. It was kind of like, we would love to have you back. We'll let you know what we would have after we do all this other stuff. We'll see what we can offer you. And he's just didn't want that. He didn't want it. He realizes where this thing is going, and it just felt it had run its course. And so he's going to go. Plus, if you really want to chase one more ring, I'd probably get out of the West next year.
Yeah.
So we've talked about it. You and I have been in agreement. The Jazz, they made their moves, and we kind of figured Walker Kessler in the mix would be a playoff team above a play-in team. How much does this affect them with Nurkic and Hayes at this point as the five men to that end?
So I sat down over the weekend where I thought there was a little bit of a slow NBA news, and I sat down and started putting teams in both conferences in tiers, like where it is. And the problem with the West is suddenly like, all right, if you're going to assume 1 and 2 are Oklahoma City and San Antonio, like, you're going to have to prove you can play with them. That's second tier. Lakers, Houston, Minnesota, Denver. Like, I'm at 6. I'm at 6 teams that I know are going to be good. And so I have Utah in the tier with, they might have to play their way out of the play-in. Now, maybe Houston doesn't come together this season. Maybe, injury here or whatever. Minnesota's different. Maybe it doesn't work as well. And we'll see what they ultimately look like. I don't think they're done. But whatever everything looks like, I think they may have to fight their way out of the play-in, but I think that's less about the Jazz going in the right direction and more about the West being brutal. It's also, by the way, everybody in the West's win totals will drop a little, just from the top. Like, I don't know that you're going to see a 64, 62 win team this year as good as Oklahoma City and San Antonio are, because there's not going to be a cupcake quite the same at the bottom. Like, there's not that many teams tanking. Portland's not going to be a pushover. Memphis isn't going to be a pushover. Like, these are pretty good teams that can give you a chance. Even the Jazz last year, like, you're going to have to win some games you didn't have to win last year. So it's going to bunch up a little, and so there's room for them to move up. But right now, I'd have them 7th or 8th probably.
Can we steal you for one more segment?
Yeah. I mean, yes. I'm like, what else have I got to do? I'm like, actually, I saw a text, but I'm not going to ignore them from my boss. And I would rather spend time with Scotty.
I appreciate it. Let's go. One more segment. Kurt Helin, NBC Sports, ProBasketballTalk.com, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Utes, Cougars, and Aggies. When it comes to sports in Utah, we've got you covered. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LeCaux, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Gerard, the coach, Tim LeCaux. Kurt Helin, who's in for the Salt Lake City Summer League, kind enough to hang out with us here in studio. But it is also World Cup day for Team USA. You feeling pretty good about us versus the Waffles?
Those are good waffles, man.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it's going to be really even. Like I'm a pretty big soccer fan. I am a weirdly, as much as I can't stand Man City, Kevin De Bruyne might have been my favorite player to watch at his peak.
Okay.
Just a gifted, visionary passer of the ball. He could score some, but like just one of those guys who made incredible plays. But they're older and we're younger and a little more athletic. I think it's a pretty even match, and I like us on our home. I like us at home. I like the chances, especially despite the weirdness. I'll take the striker back. I'll take Malloy back, but it's going to be close. Like that's a legitimate European power. Like you've got to beat. Like that's a good program. You know.
It's just been look, soccer's really never been on our radar that much, but it's been hard not getting caught up in all this.
Yeah, it's been really a really entertaining, fun, and the energy has been great. The videos of like Scotland fans drinking Boston Dry, which is like my favorite stuff.
Can you think of a better two better fan bases to come together?
I sent a friend on I think it was on Twitter. It was like, we taught the Scots how to tailgate. I don't know that they're coming back from that.
Nope.
Like,
It's over.
It's done.
Between the Scots and Boston, and then everybody going down to Texas and discovering barbecue.
Yes,
I mean,
that's the other one. Yeah.
That was the best
awesome.
line you've had. You said there's going to be
somebody's going to go back to Europe and they're going to try to open up a barbecue joint, and it's going to fail miserably. But
it's anybody with a smoker, which is probably 2/3 of the listening audience at this point, and myself included, knows that it's not easy getting it right. It is, as much as you can get it close, like actually, like I stick to the couple of things that people are coming over, like I got baby back ribs that pretty good. Like there's certain things I can do, but like I never get my briskets never quite right.
You know what's funny is, so I've got I've got a barbecue competition team. We do comps.
Oh, do you really?
During the summer and stuff, and haven't been able to get out this summer. Usually I try to get to like 4 or 5 events, but this honk.
yeah.
But so I feel really good about ribs. Brisket I've gotten pretty dialed in, but I've got like these big, pellet smokers and all these offsets and stuff like that. I had like a Weber kettle that I had just sitting around, and it's the best brisket I made. It's like a $200 Weber kettle, and that thing will knock out a brisket like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, my new quest has been after having this in Houston during the season at a Q, which is kind of a famous, almost chainy barbecue, but they did a smoked turkey that was ridiculously good, and I'm finding it impossible. Like the line between perfect and dry is like 2 minutes, and I'm like, and I'm not quite always on the right side of that line. But
you inject, do a little injection in there too,
and
a brine, and
that's
it'll
a good
help
idea.
you out.
I've found that to be the difference.
Okay,
shut up. He makes fun of my barbecue.
No, I
nerd.
don't make fun at all.
Does he say no when it's offered to eat?
I do have a big event coming up at the old house where I've got like 14 ribs. I've got 4 briskets. I've got we're going to do it upright for the old station barbecue.
Oh, so you're inviting Coach?
Yes.
Okay.
And everybody else.
I'll eat. Oh yeah, I'll eat. But I mean, I can have a little fun. He has fun at my expense from time to time.
So what are your other storylines on Summer League, especially down in Vegas coming up that you're going to be keeping an eye on? Obviously, the rookies or the top 4 picks garnering a lot of attention.
Top 4 picks, but what's fun about Summer League is always, and it probably starts tonight, there's always a guy who was either drafted later or undrafted who sneaks like, hey, this Jeremy Lin guy, this Austin Reeves guy, that's like worth watching right there. Like you start to see guys like that kind of sneak up and who is it going to be down the draft this year? Is it Helin? Like somebody like that who fell to 22 or something, like you're like, ooh, no, how did he fall that far? Like you get to see these guys because you both probably see more of them in person or on video than I get to during the season just because I'm watching so much NBA. So this is the first time I get to see a lot of these guys in person, unless they were at like Nike Hoop Summit or something that I can get to where I can see them as a high schooler. By the way, Boozer is a high schooler. You could have watched him. You're like, yeah, he can walk in right now and play in the NBA. Like he had the body. He had the body until he stood next to his dad, and you're like, I forgot how big his dad is.
His dad is big.
His dad is a big man. But had all those fundamental skills down already. It was kind of crazy.
What in terms of Vegas, in the format itself, you feel like the opportunity for Darryn and AJ to play in that first game.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be fun to watch, but then there'll be a whole lot of overreactions.
Exactly. There's a whole bunch of people who will decide, and myself included, because I'll be writing a story and doing video out of this at NBC. We will decide their careers that night. Clearly, the entire path for their career will be defined by that one
performance.
So, yeah, it's, and again, like you said, especially with first-year guys, for me, it's a lot of a benchmark. Like, how good were you then? And if you come back, and in Peterson's case, will he even play Summer League next year? Or will he play in Vegas? He might play here.
Yeah.
But, second-year guy, do you even, like, some of those guys don't even play now. So
the only thing that I take from the other day with the Jazz, Darryn, it's truth in advertising. What I saw, and not all the time at Kansas because of the issues, but what I saw leading up and the things that I loved, he did those things. And now it's just you grow from here. But, I think some people get carried away and anoint a guy after one game, and it's a long – careers are long.
Yeah, and it's look, Summer League, especially Vegas, but even here to a degree, will be – it's a networking thing. It's shaking a lot of hands and talking to people and it's all that as much as it's as much as it's basketball, it's all that. And the other part that nobody ever talks about because it's not really affecting the NBA or our circles. This is where a bunch of European teams come and watch those guys and then go, I'm going to go get – this is where I'm going to get, by the way, probably the best player on my team for the next 2 years and, like, bring him to Italy or France or Turkey or wherever. And, by the way, the fun scouts to go hang out with afterwards.
The European.
Because they're getting their best player. They have an unlimited budget. Those are the guys you want to hang out with.
It's like their lottery, right?
Exactly.
They're over here finding their lottery player.
Exactly. They are getting their, like, the third guy at UNC is their best player next year. And that's those are fun guys to hang out with just because they're both enjoying themselves and they've got the budget.
Who do you feel like post July 1 has really helped themselves the most in the offseason?
Ooh.
Is it Philly?
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to think. Philly's obviously right at the top of the list because that team's a contender now. That team is we can talk about Embiid versus this, but, like, it's them in New York right now at the top of the East, right? I think Boston's taken a step back as constructed. Cleveland, with or without LeBron, you're going to have to prove something to me. Like, they'll be really good in the regular season, but, like, you're going to have to – your season starts in mid-April. Get back to me then. And I don't know who else in the East. Oh, Detroit. Detroit hasn't yet, though, and I'm waiting because I've heard them tied to Trey Murphy, who would be a great fit. They've got to get shooting and a secondary shot creator to take some of that load off of Cade. And they also, by the way, have to figure out the Jalen Duren thing, which is getting messy.
If you're the Jazz, do you get yourself caught up in those waters at all?
If you think you could get him.
But you're not.
But I don't.
Right?
But I don't. But this is where I would want in a sign and trade more than you gave up for Walker Kessler from any team, by the way. Just because, with all due respect to Walker, Jalen Duren has proven it. He is a 22-year-old all-NBA player who is strong on both ends. And, yeah, he cost himself some money with the playoffs. And that's probably what they're haggling over. Not probably. That's what they're haggling over. But at the end of the day, like, they can't let him go unless you're giving them something back that's equally good, and I don't know where that would be coming from.
I would say what the Lakers did in terms of everything all told was irresponsible. To do that many 2 picks, 2 swaps for now. If it's Jalen Duren, I got no issue.
Yeah.
Now again, I love Walker Kessler, and I've been a guy from the start who saw the greatness. It's not always points, but this guy, he's an elite rim protector, is a great defensive rebounder, maybe the best in the league, has a relentless motor around the floor, and those are the things you want out of a big guy. Yep. But has not proven it over a long period of time on a team that is doing anything other than tanking.
And he is going to have to prove, look, for all the offense and the pick setting and the rolling and all that he is going to do well. He's there to play defense, because if you've got to play Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves next to each other, you better have some rim protection behind them that cleans a lot of things up. And Kessler is that. I mean, that is ultimately what he's there to do. He's going to have to clean up a lot of messes for them, because it's not going to be wholly unlike Utah back in the Gobert days, where we're just going to we're going to need Rudy to clean up a lot of messes with Donovan and everybody out on the perimeter, because they're not great defenders. We're going to need him to do. They need him to be that kind of guy, and I mean, we'll see.
I mean, and I think he can be, but I think the problem is they made a very large investment that he will.
They are fully committed to this core. And by the way, I like the Sandro pickup. I like bringing Colin Sexton off the bench. Like Sandro, nobody saw here because you're not allowed to show Canadian games in the United States for some reason. Colin Sexton off the bench just to give them some punch. I like
Grimes.
Grimes is a great two-way play. I like all the moves they made on paper. And I think J.J. Redick's a good coach, but that's why they're in my second tier on the list. He's like, that's still paper, man. You're going to have to prove you can do this.
Well, hey, we appreciate you coming in. Thanks for hanging out.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Enjoy your time here in Salt Lake, and try to enjoy your time down in Vegas.
You guys gave me some restaurant, at least a lunch recommendation now, so I know what I'm doing for lunch.
Yeah, absolutely. And I expect a full report next time we talk.
I know that fry sauce might not be a big thing in Southern California, but load up on the fries and the fry sauce.
Fries and fry sauce? Okay, good. Yeah. Southern California, big on bowls right now. Healthy bowls is
not here in Utah.
This place.
Yeah. we still like our grease.
I think you eat this after a different kind of bowl.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Kurt Helin.
I'm here working, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
NBC Sports, ProBasketballTalk.com, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
You're locked on to Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Gerard, Tim LaComb. This time tomorrow, Coach, we're going to be hanging out in Texas, enjoying Big 12 Media Day. College football, it's kind of the unofficial kickoff of college football.
Man, you can't get here soon enough.
I know, right?
Except for you're going to be traveling more, which will, I'll cope with that.
Oh, it won't be as bad. Now, basketball season can get a little rough sometimes.
That's true. I guess by the time football, you're leaving Fridays after the show sometimes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, the old charters can be
they're a nice thing.
They're nice, but you're on their schedule, not your own schedule.
That is true.
But, yeah, I can't wait to get the college football season started. By the way, a little bit of breaking news. The Big 12 has already announced its preseason awards. And guess what? We keep hearing about him. Sheyhan Jeyarajah kept talking about him. But L.J. Martin, your preseason Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year. Now, everybody at BYU would be saying – it don't matter because it's preseason. He hasn't done anything, but he's done plenty to earn that honor. Now he has to go out there and earn this honor coming up in the regular season.
Well, I think the way BYU's built, they were going to be good this year. But when LJ said, I'm coming back, I think that takes it to a whole another echelon. And I really do believe that, they flirted with the Big 12 title. And Texas Tech is obviously a great foe. Utah's a great foe. But I think, in their minds, this is the year they do it. And so at least a trip to that championship game again and hopefully a better outcome.
Yeah. And look, I think that if you're BYU, you're looking at this year and saying it's a Big 12 championship game, and anything less is probably a little bit of a disappointment.
I mean, that's kind of the vibe I get from BYU and the folks there. And, again, hype and expectation have crushed many a dream.
Yeah.
But I do think that it's well placed. You've got a tenured coach, especially in the league, certainly well respected, who's just had to fine tune his staff a little bit. And so that defensive piece will be interesting because Jay Hill did make quite a defense out of a group of guys. And, he's on to things now in Michigan. The cool part is Kelly, was right there watching it. And it's Kelly.
Kelly Papinga,
because I knew both of them.
Yeah.
So sometimes I throw the bro's name in there. Kelly, Kelly is such a good guy, has worked really hard, is not a Johnny-come-lately, not a guy that just showed up, and found his way politically into that job. He's paid his dues.
Oh, yeah.
And I love the fact that, he's going to get his crack. And I think with Kalani nearby and again, having Jay and learning some of the principles that I think Jay has made a constant everyday thing, I think BYU can dream big.
They should. And I think that's, it's an opportunity for them to really establish that brand that they've been building and building and building towards, and saying, to win that Big 12 championship. You were knocking on the door last year. If they can get that and then knock themselves into the college football playoff, it's a huge accomplishment. And if they're able to accomplish that before the University of Utah, that's going to be a problem. But make no mistake, Utah is going to be just fine this year. I have very little concern that Utah can be right there in the mix in this thing too.
I get a really good vibe coming from another.
I do too.
And you see, watching just tweet after tweet over the last couple of weeks of guys jumping on. They like what they're hearing from a recruiting standpoint. And Utah's done a really good job just accumulating talent, it's how Kyle did it in the first place. You got to have talented dudes, always. And I do believe Morgan Scalley is the type of guy that can coach guys just the way Kyle did, to the same result, using different methods. I think Morgan's will be one that I think it's going to be a little more open. I think they're going to smile and laugh a little more, but don't mistake any of that stuff for the fact that they want to rip your head off.
Yeah. And but yeah, you're right. Utah's on a heater right now when it comes to recruiting.
Big time.
And the commitments they've been picking up.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
And I think a lot of people are like, okay, let's see what the staff looks like. And once they got settled in and got to work, it's like, whew, okay, here they go. And BYU's doing well. Both these schools are just humming along at a nice level when it comes to recruiting.
Well, and there's great pride in the fact that that preseason poll I looked at, and we'll actually see the official one, but this is conjecture. But it had BYU and Utah there in 2 and 3. And again, these are schools that at their different times went from the mid-major to the halves, and they've worked their way into it. They figured out NIL. They've navigated the landscape. So both Utah and BYU fans should be excited. Both staffs should be congratulated, both on the athletic side and on the coaching side, because the Big 12 was always something you'd hope to be in and you could compete in. And now their name's right up there at the top.
Yeah. All right, Summer League continues tonight for the Utah Jazz here in Salt Lake City, and then they'll hit the road and go down to Vegas. But after a huge Game 1 performance, Darryn Peterson had a chance to catch up with the media. Here is the newest member of the Utah Jazz after a big night for the Jazz in Summer League.
Darryn, how would you assess, your performance tonight, and what were you seeing, particularly, down the stretch in those possessions?
I think I was pretty good. I feel I could help my team win. Happy we came out on top. Last couple possessions, I know I missed the box out, turned the ball over. I'm going to have to watch it back, but got to be better at the end of the game. We had a lot of turnovers at the end of the game. We got to be able to seal the game.
Darryn, at the start of the game, first possession, you guys get the tip and then you get the ball. Are you thinking to yourself, I just see something and you drive for it, or were you instructed to kind of go to the basket?
Just a read. Yeah, I seen a bigger guy come out on me, so I tried to just attack him.
When you walked out onto the court for warm-ups, you had a standing ovation from fans, and there were fans chanting MVP and all these kind of things. What was it like just getting to play in front of them for the first time? It
was great. Kind of takes me back to the Kansas, just reminds me of Kansas a little bit, with a great fan base. And like I said in the media before, when I put on the uniform, it's not just for myself, it's for the fans as well. So happy to see me out there.
Darryn, with everything that's happened, getting drafted, all that, I'm sure there were some nerves or something built up for it. Just how did it feel to go out there and finally play with Jazz across your chest?
I felt great. I said after the game, that was my first game since my last game in March. And that was also on my mind because Zubies was on the other team, and they beat us on that game winner. I don't know if you guys seen it, but that was in my mind. So, yeah, happy to get the win.
Darryn, you had kind of talked about you were itching to get back on the court and kind of prove yourself. Just was that kind of a motivating factor for you heading into this game, and how did you kind of use that in your favor in your first game as a Jazz man?
For sure, I've been training super hard, like manifesting this game since the season ended, my Kansas season ended. So to get out there and finally be able to put on a jersey and play again is great. And then on top of that, I got Jazz across my chest now, so it's a huge honor and privilege.
Darryn, you hit a 3 towards the end of the game that was just a little bit left of the top of the key, and you had a very similar shot against Texas Tech in a tie game. Is that a spot you like to get to in a moment, or is it just kind of what the game dictates? Take me through that kind of late game moment.
You're kind of just a game dictator. They switched. I had the same layup I had on the beginning of the game. I had him again, and I just thought score when I got him. So got one up, happy winning.
Playing next to some NBA guys on your roster, better spacing, bigger size, though. What did you notice in your first game?
First thing I noticed, it was like I'm tired. Like I was like the altitude was getting to me a little bit. I was tired, but yeah, like you said, more space. Also, how important scouting report is. It was important in college, but also like I got to be able to go out there and perform what we scouted and went over. So I got to be better at that. Those probably the main things.
Darryn, you kind of already hit on it, but you said the opposing team had a player that hit a game winner against you in Kansas in the NCAA tournament. How do you use things like that? How do you note take things like that to kind of motivate you heading into these games? I mean, what is the process like for that?
I'm already kind of motivated going into the game. Just it's a basketball game. I'm a competitor. Every time I step out there, I want to help my team win. But I use that as a little bit extra just because he ended my freshman year. So I kind of use anything I can.
Darryn, what have your first days been like, just kind of on and off the floor? And, what are some of the things that have stood out to you? And, have there been any, signature moments that you've encountered that you'll remember going forward?
Yeah. First couple of days been great. Practice, going hard, competing every day. Leaning on guys like Keontae, he's been at every practice and been pushing me to do certain things and hold me accountable. Like I can't wait to play with him, play together. Then off the court, really just been with my dog. I don't really want something off the court. I don't got much time to myself no more. He got to be taken out and walked and stuff. I want him to have like a great life, so I've been trying to like walk him and spend as much time as I can with him when I'm off court.
What's his name?
Denim.
Like the jeans?
Yeah, like the jeans. Yeah. It's crazy. Like the people were telling me like at halftime, my alarm was going off on my phone. It said feed Denim. Like so yeah, I'm trying to get Dad of the Year. So yeah, I had that on there. But yeah, off court, just him really chilling and treatment and him.
Has anything surprised you with this, the week of practice, this game? Have you had like a welcome to NBA moment or anything that's kind of wasn't something that you expected?
Welcome to NBA. I'd probably say like these guys are a lot stronger, maybe. That was the biggest thing I noticed today. Also got to get used to like the refs, the whistle. It's a different whistle. Those are the first thing that come to mind on that one.
Darryn, you talked a lot during the pre-draft process about wanting to get back to showing your playmaking at the next level. Just how did it feel to have the ball in your hands so much this game?
It felt good. I feel like I know I had a lot of turnovers. Yeah. I got to be better with it. But it felt good. Got to take care of the ball, though. Can't have talk about that with Coach Hardy the other day. Live ball turnovers are bad, so you got to be better.
A scout I was talking to says it looks easy for you in terms of like getting to your spots, creating your shot. Does that still feel pretty natural and pretty easy for you at this level?
I don't know. I train super hard to try to make the games easier for me, but I wouldn't say it's easy. I just try to find my spot. Like they said, I just try to find my spot and get it up or make a play. But I wouldn't Say it's easier still. Still got to work.
I know you've talked a lot about having conversations with Keontae, but quite a few vets are back from Bryce, Jaren, Isaiah. What have those conversations been like?
Mainly just with Keontae, but those guys are at the scrimmage we had the other day. So they just basketball stuff, really. We spent some time together at Coach's house, and we'll probably get together today for the 4th, but just been like welcome and happy to have me, that kind of stuff. Only one that's been like coaching me up is Keontae on court.
There you go. Keontae out there serving as not just a teammate, but as a coach as well for the Jazz Summer League. So a lot of attention going his way, a lot of excitement certainly earned based on that game. And again, it wouldn't surprise me if, I don't think it would happen, but it wouldn't surprise me if he puts up a dud tonight, because that's just kind of how it goes sometimes, especially with rookies playing in Summer League.
Well, just as excited as everybody is tonight. Don't
freak
out.
out.
Just know it's a process, man. And sure, this kid has, I think people throw comps out, they whisper comps sometimes because they don't dare say them out loud. But when you're thrown into a certain echelon, the expectations are going to be through the roof. And have to remind you, it still does take time. Those guys were not those guys right away. And those guys were not those guys 2 to 3 years in. So it takes a little time. But I will just say truth in advertising. I loved what I saw. I loved that he competed the way he did. I loved the way he took about accountability after for, some things that didn't go great. And but ultimately, if you're a Jazz person and you watch that and say, I'm really glad we got him at number 2.
Like, okay, we can work with this.
We can work with this.
Yes.
This will do.
That'll do, Pig. That'll do. No, there's just so much to get fired up about. And again, it's you want to keep yourself even keeled throughout the whole process in Summer League, but sometimes it's hard not to get a little excited about what October, November, and this upcoming season could look like.
Well, it's no doubt the one thing that we said all along is what a year for the Jazz to get the number 2 pick when there are literally 3 number 1 picks on the board.
Yep.
If you were just assigned one of those 3 guys at year's end, you would have been thrilled. And the way it worked out, I think AJ is going to be terrific, and he'll get his first crack in Summer League against the Jazz. Darryn has got off to a great start, and Boozer was everything everybody said he was the other night. So I think that is one thing we can definitely agree on. There was a lot of talent in this draft. Acuff had a big night. The names will start to pop, of guys that had good nights. But overall, you got to love it. If Darryn Peterson had that's a memorable first game.
I think Kurt, like I've been on that Boozer being Rookie of the Year. I think Kurt may have got me rethinking that, because I think Acuff very easily could be Rookie of the Year next year
with just the ball in his hand. And he's the plan.
Yep.
Yeah,
just go get it.
He's good enough to certainly rack up a ton of numbers, and I hope he's got a little more to him. Sacramento hopes he's got a little more to him, because it's going to take a crazy effort to rip that thing out of the gutter, because that's where Sacramento resides, in the gutter.
Yeah, you just feel bad for those guys.
And our guy Kurt just broke news that they waived DeRozan. He's out. He also broke news that Hachimura is staying in L.A., not the Lakers, though, going over to the Clippers.
Going to the Clippers. Not a big surprise there. I mean, not the Clippers, but that he's not going back to the Lakers.
Yeah, not a big surprise at all. I think that was floated out there, a number that could be saved if they were able to not bring LeBron and Rui back. So being in that mix, I didn't think there was a big chance he'd be back. But certainly a good player. And, the Clippers are like, okay, we'll just stay in the same apartment and play for us.
Yeah. All right, 125, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Look, Kurt Helin's been here. We've had a little change-up. We have not forgotten about it. It is a big day for Team USA. It is a big day for our nation. It is, yes, a World Cup day, trying to punch their ticket to the round of 8. Team USA taking on Belgium. You will have your 1 minute of World Cup update. Are we giving him a minute or 90 seconds?
Yeah, we're back up to a minute.
Okay, so not 30 seconds. You're going to give him a full minute.
I want to discuss something on the other side with
Mr. Annapolis?
Our FIFA over here, Oz.
Me?
Oh, okay. All right.
Just on a ruling that you made
Absolutely
last
FIFA.
week.
We will do that coming up next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
With Squarespace, you can do more than just build a website. You can build a business. Squarespace helps restaurants and hotels showcase signature offerings and experiences. And with Squarespace, consultants and photographers can create invoices to collect well-earned payments. You can even send email newsletters to keep in touch with your loyal customers. Done. So grow your business at squarespace.com. Get started with offer code MAKEITREAL for 10% off your website or domain.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
Best sports radio in Utah is right here, right here. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaCombe, on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Gerard, the coach, Tim LaCombe. Hey, yes, coach. You have a question there in the back.
Oh, no, I was just waving to the cameras.
Oh, I thought you were
I was
like
just doing my parade wave.
elbow, wrist.
Which I'm going to need here in a couple weeks.
Oh, what have you got signed up for?
I'm not
Yes, you
I think
do.
the Big Daddy.
You going to the big one, huh?
The big one, yes.
The granddaddy of them all.
The one they had for Karl Malone back in the day.
Yes.
We're starting Tim off right.
The days of 47.
It'll probably be 147 degrees by then.
Yeah.
Because it's getting hot, y'all.
Yep.
We'll know hot tonight, though.
Good thing you got those windows.
There's nothing like getting off the jetway, and nothing says welcome to Texas like that humidity.
I used to hate the heat so much, and now I'm like,
you dig it?
I love it. Absolutely love it. All right. We do have in fact, let's go ahead and spin the wheel. Let's see if Mr. Annapolis shows up on there.
Sorry, Belgium.
Here he is. It is time for your 1 minute soccer World Cup update as the United States now fully leaded, ready to go. Let's check. Oh, we may have lost our guy, Alex.
He's such a prima donna. If it's not, stuff's not, you don't play as open, he's just going to get off the line.
He's like,
he's getting big for his britches.
It's, you know what? That's what happens. You know, you get a guy, I'm
With
sure,
great talent,
a recruit, great talent, good dude, works hard, and then he tastes a little bit of the good life, and then it sours him, and he's never quite the same again.
I feel it, Jay Busy Brown. It's getting hot. It is getting hot in here.
Hot in here.
That's off the YouTube stream. Yes, Gary Anderson is still at BYU. Good point.
Yes.
And Gary is a hell of a football coach.
By the way, I ran into Gary, had a nice little chat with him, and I'm going to try to see if he can he is willing to do a little bit of a weekly hit with us throughout the season. So I'd love to be able to chat with Gary. All right. Now he is locked and loaded, ready to go, just like the entire Team USA roster coming up for their showdown against Belgium. It is your 1 minute World Cup update with the world famous Alex Annapolis. It starts right now.
Well, obviously the big story tonight is the U.S. men's national team taking on Belgium. The U.S. team moved on after taking down Bosnia and Herzegovina 2-0 in the last round. But the big story is Flo Balogun, the starting striker for the U.S. men's national team, who got a red card in the last game. He was supposed to be suspended for this game, but now he's eligible to play after the FIFA independent judiciary board decided that his red card suspension would be suspended. He'll have to serve it at a later time. And so Flo Balogun is available for the U.S. men's national team. However, though, a lot of pushback from the federations, a lot of pushback from Belgium, their head coach, saying that, of course, he should be serving the suspension tonight. So we'll see if Balogun ends up making the starting lineup for the U.S. men's national team. Yesterday, Brazil bowed out of the tournament. They lost 2-1 to Norway. Helin scored 2 goals in that one. And then England taking down Mexico in Mexico City, a 3-2 scoreline as England moves on to the quarterfinals and Mexico bows out of the tournament.
That Mexico, I know that you were keeping a close eye on that, you and your family. That was a bit of a gut kick, knowing that you had, 10 minutes up a man, and you couldn't quite get it there.
Oh, they were up a man for probably closer to 20.
Oh, was
and
okay.
then and then of course you have a bunch of additional time added on to the end, but Mexico lacked, I guess, the ideas. They lacked a little bit of the precision when it came to their crosses. England holds on. They absolutely throw everybody behind the ball to make sure that nobody from the Mexican national team had any chances to get anything going. And then, of course, they hold on to that 3-2 win.
England didn't have a lot left in the tank there at the end of that thing, too. You could tell that the elevation may have played a toll, but still couldn't get it done there for Mexico.
Yeah, and I think that's the unfortunate part. Just Mexico not being able to take advantage of their opportunities. Mexico not being able to take advantage of being up a man. England, with them being tired, with them being at elevation, with them being down a man, they held on really well. The way that they set up, they made sure that there was no passing lanes for Mexico. They forced everything out wide for Mexico to cross it into the box. But even then, I mean, Mexico didn't have much left in the tank as well when it came to precision on the crosses, precision on balls into the box. Plus, England, very physical, very tall, and it ended up not working out for Mexico.
Hey, Alex, this is just a question about the red card. I understand the other day you were penalized 30 seconds for the red card. Is that correct?
I was for the U.S. Red card. I was penalized. Yes.
Okay, that's my line of questioning to you. So Lloyd, did you order the red card?
Yeah, I ordered the red card.
Why
do it again?
Why did you order the red card?
You know what? The reason he got the red card on that is because I'm sorry, I'm not going to be dealing with this lame red card. Like, really, you're kicking out the U.S.'s best player. Like, I think that.
No. I'm saying on the penalty.
Yeah,
you penalized him because you didn't like the sportsmanship.
Yeah, so your response to that was that you kicked off our best soccer analyst and cost him 30 seconds.
Much. Yes.
So that was it.
I lost a little bit of respect for soccer after that.
So just to make sure you ordered the code red?
Sure.
We need you behind that board.
Order the code red. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. Did you order the code red?
Oh, man. Great movie. Alex, please tell me you've seen that movie.
Oh, man. I hate to disappoint, but I have not. It is on the list.
Alex constantly disappoints when it comes to movies.
Ever since that drop made it into the system, it has been added onto the list.
Well, get it to the top of the list.
Yeah, that's got to be right
what
there.
What are you doing today?
Yeah.
As soon as we hang up. Last question for you, from me. It was Cody Campbell or that Lubbock judge anywhere near the people at FIFA making this decision on the red card?
You know what? It kind of feels that way a little bit right now because there's the drama. There's so much drama regarding Flo Balogun and his suspension. There's so much drama regarding what the U.S. Federation and what the Belgian Federation have been going back and forth with FIFA about. FIFA is standing strong on their stance that the independent, and they made it very clear today that it was an independent board who made this decision. It wasn't Gianni Infantino, who's the president of FIFA, who ultimately made the call. It was made by their independent board that operates separately from FIFA, but they review these type of decisions. They review these type of incidences, and FIFA is holding strong on their stance that Flo Balogun can play due to the decision that was made by this independent board. Now, again, the question is, does Mauricio Pochettino elect to go with Flo Balogun tonight? And if Flo Balogun does make an appearance tonight for the U.S. men's national team, the Belgian Federation has already said that they will essentially, no matter how the game ends up, no matter which way the result goes, they will also be back in FIFA's ear, essentially asking for a review of the match because of a player that was suspended and is supposed to be suspended will make an appearance.
Did you order the code red?
All right, so give me your thoughts. Write the script. now that you know what the roster looks like for Team USA up against Belgium. We had Helin on, and Kurt said that Belgium, great team, but a little on the older side, whereas you got Team USA, a little bit younger, a little bit more athletic, but maybe not have that same level of experience. You got a rabid crowd there in Seattle. That place is going to be rocking with the 12. So how do you see this one playing out?
Well, I think them being in Seattle is a major factor. Having that 12th man, that home field advantage, will play a huge part in this game tonight. Kurt, I think absolutely hit it on the head. It is an older Belgium, and to be honest, have been pretty inconsistent throughout the course of this tournament. They haven't been, the Belgium of old, and Belgium in previous editions of the World Cup have disappointed. Sometimes they've crashed out in the 16, similar to they have tonight. I imagine that the U.S., again, whether Balogun plays or not, they'll use their speed, they'll use their physicality to try to get in behind a very good Belgian defense. And if Belgium plays how they played against Senegal in that first half in the round of 32 game, I think the U.S. can take advantage with that physicality inside the box and can take advantage getting in behind the defense. The U.S., I think, has a really, really good shot of advancing tonight. Maybe not favored, even though they're on home soil, but they got a good shot at moving on tonight.
All right, Alex, appreciate it. Thanks for your time, and we look forward to catching up with you again here very soon.
Thanks as always, guys. Appreciate it.
And, by the way, if Team USA wins, he will get 90 seconds. But we're not cutting him down to 30 if Team USA loses, though. Because we still need to be doing these updates.
That's debatable.
Oh, come on, Lloyd. I think you're a little aggressive on
I'm
that.
going to file an injunction.
Hey, that red card, come on, that was such garbage.
It was garbage, but why are you taking it out on Alex, though?
No, I'm not taking it on Alex. I'm taking it out on soccer.
Do you realize how much airtime means to this guy?
That's his moment to shine.
He had a
man.
whole show.
Oh, that's true.
He did have a whole show, if you remember right on
I'm
Thursday.
surprised we were invited back.
That is true.
We had already talked soccer several times.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Lloyd, go ahead and spin that wheel.
Giannis.
Giannis is Giannis, and he wants Milwaukee to love him on his way out.
I think they should love him.
He won a title for him.
Won a
Absolutely
title,
should.
stayed, re-signed.
Yeah.
Tried to win more. And they just kept sending his buddies out of town and bringing in guys that, while on paper, look great, hard to win.
Yeah, it was just never going to be set up well for him. But he posts his obligatory thank you, Milwaukee, blah, blah, blah. But I'm out. Milwaukee's going to strip that thing down and try to regroup. But, yeah, I'd say if you're a Milwaukee Buck fan, you slap Giannis on the back. You say thank you very much. You can go chase a title somewhere else because you gave us a trophy and a parade. You can't ask for much more than that.
Giannis has said, I hope bringing a trophy to this city meant something to them because it meant so much to me. I want you to hear it from my mouth. The city of Milwaukee will always be in my heart. This is my home. So a nice step. You don't have to do that stuff.
No.
And, rightfully so. I think the fact that he took a championship to Milwaukee, Milwaukee was not a player.
Nope.
Hadn't been since Pressey and, there were some of the great Sid Moncrief, back in those days. But even then, not enough, So did great things for the city, and I like that seems to be ending on a good note.
It was Lou Alcindor in Milwaukee, right?
That's right.
Before Kareem.
That was his very, very close. And I guess it was a personality because it was part of him.
Yeah.
It's a different name.
And Milwaukee won't be a player without him. They weren't a player with him or before him. There won't be one without him. You stumbled into something special there. You got a title out of it, and I'd say that's pretty solid. Can't complain one bit.
Now you watch Tyler Hero chuck threes for a couple of years until they figure it out.
Oh boy, that could be a little rough. All right, spin it.
Bucknell strength coach charged in hazing death.
This is an ugly story here, Coach.
Nasty. 2024 death of a freshman football player that just happened to coincide with some undue conditioning in severe heat. The player ended up collapsing and passing, and everybody thought it was over. And they've come back, circled back, and the strength coach being held responsible for his part in it.
The strength coach subjected Dickey and other players to 100 up-downs and several full-body plank drills in spite of training and direction from other coaches that such exercises were not appropriate or safe for use of training. Dickey was visibly struggling, and the strength and conditioning coach did not summon help until Dickey had passed out. Yeah, this dude probably needs to go to jail for a long time.
And reason I put it on here is it's seriously, it's not macho. It's not, hey, be a man. Like this, that's pretty big stuff. So I think everybody has a responsibility. Everybody coaches at different levels. And, there's a part where you take it and a part where you let it go. And I just think this is a great reminder. This dude made it about him.
Yeah.
And bad things happen. So just a good reminder and a sad story nonetheless.
Well, and that's the one thing too. Like I've always told my kids whenever they're playing or in part of any organization that I will always back your coaches. But the thing is, I will back my coaches when, in regards of playing time, in regards of those kind of things. Like if a coach says, I don't think you're good enough to play, or I don't think you're good enough to start over this other guy, I will always back the coach. But when I ever feel like my son's safety is being threatened, then that's a different thing.
Like locked in a shed or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like there are certain moments where you realize, okay, that's a coach just trying to act like a tough guy. That's not a coach that's trying to make your player better and make him stronger. You can see where that line is. And when you're doing things like this, when other coaches are saying like, hey, no, don't be doing this, then you're just trying to be like a tough guy. You watch that stupid show on ESPN about Bear Bryant. You earn your water. Okay, stop. That was a long time ago. Life's not like that anymore. No,
and it is. I mean, that's the perfect point. I think there is a line where everybody wants to push, but Little League football's nuts. I've watched coaches out there, and so I think just a good reminder, community-wide, that at the highest levels of sport, the number one concern is player safety.
Yes.
And it's obviously football's a little late to that game, but they're getting, they're certainly making strides. I think everybody at the community level can do the same.
All right, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We'll wrap up this bad boy next. Get you ready for Jake Scott straight ahead right here on the Zone.
Ladies and gentlemen, the biggest name.
You're locked on to Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, next time you hear from Coach and I as a show, you're going to hear from Coach a little bit coming up next with Jake Scott. But next time you and I will be on the air together, we will be down in Frisco, Texas. Big 12 Media Day kicking off tomorrow. Fired up, Coach. You'll love this stuff.
Yeah, we'll be live all day, won't we?
Yep. From early morning to late night, we've got you covered. And, in fact, if you're in the area, come on by. We may even throw you on the air. Like, if you're just... if
you got any credentials?
You got some random that can talk your way in there? Hey, come on in.
Seems to know his stuff, Scotty. Let's give him a segment. I'm excited, man. I'm excited to get there. As crazy as it is, I lived in Texas. My family lives. I've never been to Frisco. So this will be a first for me. Yeah, I've been to everything around it. But Frisco, when I lived there, was just merely fields. Lots of fields.
I called a bowl game in that soccer stadium. Utah State played a bowl game there. And they stayed there and practiced at the Star and all that stuff. So incredible facilities. And Jerry Jones, let's just say, is pretty much created that. Well, not created the town, but pretty much developed the town.
Yeah, he's given people a lot of things to do right there close. And, everything's marked with the Star.
Yes. Got to have that
notorious star. So I'm excited to meet the people, the personalities, in the league that make it happen.
Well, and that's the fun thing about these media days is that you're going to have a lot of people down there, and it's going to get a little crazy. The old Pac-12 really had a very structured system, and it was awesome because they would have handlers for every player and every coach, and they had a very detailed schedule. And so you knew at this time who you'd be talking to, how long you'd have them, and then when they were gone, then another person would come right in, and it was just, I mean,
that train ran on time.
You could set your watch to it. Look, there were a lot of issues with the Pac-12, and a couple commissioners that did their best to run it into the ground. In fact, they did run it into the ground. But one thing they did very well is they knew how to handle their media days. It was awesome. The Big 12, on the other hand, they have really captured a free-for-all and they've essentially turned it into Super Bowl media day when pretty much anybody who's anybody can come in there, and it's just a try to grab a person, throw them on the air, and see what you can get away with. It's you eat what you kill down at Big 12 Media Day.
I'll wear my sneakers.
Yes, and
so
we'll
I'm deft.
And we'll have Stone down there. He'll be fighting people.
Oh, he's ready to mad dog.
Yeah,
he is ready.
So we'll have fun.
I prepped him. I said, "Gonna be a little bit. I feel like it's gonna be more chaotic than it was last year. So just plan on it."
Yeah. So just buckle up.
Tell him it's not really kidnapping if you let him go within about 2 minutes of getting them in a hold and taking them somewhere.
Just grab them and steer them away from their handler.
Just bring them right to the seat. Our seat.
Carry some extra candy with you.
And maybe some zip ties.
Hey, you want a piece of candy?
Want some candy?
I'll
Come
do
over
an
here.
interview.
Joey McGuire, do you like some bit of honey? You want to come over here?
Just like our remotes, just have candy out on the table. See who comes over to snake it.
And then, bam, Stone grabs him, throws him down in a chair, puts him on a headset, and we talk football.
I was at a remote out. It was out here on the plaza, pregame Jazz game, and they were really excited because they were going to do it upright. And so somebody from the station came and literally dumped this big bucket of candy and just candy all over the table. And this is a true story. So everybody's starting to get there, and a woman comes up and she said, "Are these for the public?" I said, "Yes, ma'am. You can go ahead." She opened up her backpack and commenced to take every single one of them off the table into a backpack. And I'm certainly not going to stop her. It's not my job. But, yeah, it was quite a scene. Give them one.
The freeloaders out there.
Take them all.
That's the only thing I've disliked about radio, especially remotes and stuff like that. The freeloaders, man. Oof. Gets the blood boiling. It really does.
I think that's offset, though, by the autograph requests. It does amazing things for my confidence.
You get more autograph requests than the freeloaders.
Oh, yeah. The freeloaders aren't they're not that much.
No, there's not very many of them.
And they've been kind of whittled out.
Yeah.
Phil isn't around anymore.
And when
I don't even think he's with us.
Phil may not even be with us anymore. Yeah.
When I say autograph requests, it's certainly the people that are trying to go through a different avenue to get Scotty. And I've worked out a little side gig.
Tim, I don't think that's the case. There's been a few.
Oh no, that's all about people want their coach.
Hey, you're a great partner, my guy.
Hey, so tomorrow you'll hear from, I believe, is it BYU tomorrow?
BYU's tomorrow.
Okay.
Utah's on Wednesday.
All right, yeah. So it'll be a heavy BYU show tomorrow. They've split up, so you'll have Kalani Sitake tomorrow, and then Morgan Scally and the Utah crew coming up on Wednesday.
Early morning Wednesday
Yes.
for Morg, from my understanding.
Yes. So we'll have all the players, all the coaches that are there, and we'll have it covered. I'm
Didn't
fired
even
up.
realize we were live at that time, but yeah, we are.
We'll be live.
We are live all day. The only station that will be live and local from 7A to 7A to
as
6P.
long as we need to be.
Yeah,
If I
need.
had a horn, I'd honk it.
Honk. Deservedly so. Also, when you look at what you've got in terms of the questions, I know Joey McGuire is going to get talked about by Sorsby. I don't really plan on bringing up Sorsby if he sits down. What I will bring up is, okay, how close is Will Hammond? Do you anticipate him week 1? Do you anticipate him week 3 against Houston? Because the Sorsby thing's in the rearview mirror. Okay, it's over, done with. Put it to bed. Doesn't matter. I know a lot of people are going to ask him about him. If it's up to me, I'm not going to bring up Sorsby at all. But what I do want to talk about is how close is Hammond? Because if he does play, if you're a University of Utah fan, you can see how good that kid is when he gets it dialed in.
Well, and we've heard a couple of different times from different analysts, Sheyhan being one of them, that the quarterback issue would not have been an issue at Texas Tech had Will Hammond completely been healthy, because that was the guy all along that they wanted to be in there. So to me, it's just a matter of how he gets back from everything, how he acclimates. But in terms of talent, I don't know that there's that big of a drop-off unless you're kind of factoring in the injury, and there's always time. That always takes some time and effectiveness away in the beginning.
Yeah. Oh, there's no doubt. And that, and it's just a matter of trying to make sure that you're dialed in, you're settled in, and your team knows who they have to rally around. And that's going to be a bit of a concern for Texas Tech, because I think those guys are going to go through a good chunk of fall camp without him being available. He'll be there, but he won't be practicing at a high level. And then you'll get into the season, and it probably won't be until week 3 at the earliest. And so you've got a team like, okay, is it this week? Is it this week? Is it this week? It's kind of like back with the University of Utah when they were dealing with Cam Rising. Is it? No. No. And so it's that week-to-week thing, and I think that can take a toll on the team.
Man, that was brutal. Wasn't it? Every week just gearing up for, not quite ready.
And you kept hearing from Kyle Whittingham, oh, it's going to be soon. No. Oh, it's good. Nope. And I think that took a toll, and that's why you had a year that wasn't particularly good, a couple of years that weren't particularly good, just because of that.
I see a bad moon rising on that whole thing. It's just brutal.
Which is uncomfortable too, because he was a good kid, and when he was healthy, he was great, and I could totally understand why Utah tried to slow play it as long as they could, because you wanted to do right by him. And you knew he was a great option, but after a while, you just had to cut bait and move on.
One thing will be interesting, and I've talked to a bunch of BYU and Utah people in preparation for the season, because, man, I love to get the fans' angle. It's fun. And then also talking to people inside both buildings. It's really going to come down to a lot of it. Bear and Dampier are a lot the same in terms of, effective with their feet, certainly, can really look good, but ultimately, I think to be great quarterbacks, you got to be able to throw the ball downfield. Like, both of them have to consistently be able to throw the ball downfield. And at BYU, it's going to be a little tougher this year because his receivers aren't going to be as good. My guy from American Fork, he made him look really good last year. Caveman, of course.
Yeah. By the way, we went a whole show today without talking about the fact that you got Bronco Mendenhall to sing the American Fork fight song.
I was as shocked as you were. But I just went with it.
And boy, he was right there with you. Right there with you.
We were kind of sitting there, and, he's Bronx, so he sat down, and he has a relationship with you. So he's, in conversations, you typically read how people are going. And he was answering your question and making eye contact with you. And so just waiting my turn. I didn't want to, trying to think of something,
Old AFI, yes, we will love you till we die. Our banner's bright of red and white will be a beacon through the night. Oh, yeah, it's right there.
Mm-hmm. My favorite part, though, is coming up. Dramatic arts.
Football and track.
We'll
always bring the honors back. So sing our praises to the sky.
Bronco
we'll
and I will always fight for
AFI.
Go. So anyway, that's our shout-out for the...
And he laughed.
He was no, there's sometimes Bronco will go along with you in an interview, and you're like, okay, he really doesn't want to do this, but he's playing a good sport. He was not just being a good sport. He was enthusiastically involved in that.
I'm the coach whisperer. That's another tag.
Yes,
so if you have a coach that needs to laugh, needs to sing, holler.
There you go. All right, coming up next, Jake Scott is going to be hanging out with you, Coach, for the first hour of the show. And then we'll all hop on a plane and head down to Dallas. It's all right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.